Hey everybody, welcome back to our channel. We have Garnett and Arctic Fox True Crime with us today. How are you guys doing this morning?
I'm waking up.
Look, you guys, I woke them up early as hell and I was like, are you guys ready? We got to do this video in like the next 5 minutes. So I appreciate you guys for, hopping on. But it's hard when you have kids. You have to take the opportunity and just go with it whenever you have that chance. Um, so we are going to be speaking about HaLeigh Cummings. She disappeared February 9th, 2009. Um, she disappeared out of Putnam County. And we are going to play a quick video real quick. Um, and I'm playing this under the Fair Use Act of 1976. And here you go.
HaLeigh Cummings disappeared in the middle of the night from her Putnam County bed. She was just 5 years old at the time. She's been missing ever since. For those of you who followed this massive search for the kindergarten in February 2009, it is probably hard to believe that HaLeigh would be 18 years old today. It's her birthday. Even after all these years, her family has never given up hope that she will come home someday.
Yeah, 18, graduating, prom, all the things we should have got to see, but didn't.
For HaLeigh Cummings' grandmother, the pain of her disappearance gets worse with each year she's gone.
I know she's grown up, but I don't know. You know, how tall is she? What color is her hair? It's hard to think that you don't even know what your grandchild looks like. But I always see her happy because she was always happy.
You got a backpack full of goodies, didn't you?
HaLeigh Cummings lived in Satsuma with her father, Ronald, and her younger brother, Junior. At the time she was last seen, her dad's girlfriend, Misty Crosland, was babysitting the children while their father worked the midnight shift. She said HaLeigh disappeared from bed. Her great-grandmother has never forgotten that night. The call from Ronald.
Somebody stole my child.
His voice screaming at me, somebody stole my daughter. Somebody stole my daughter. My daughter's gone. I need you here. And I started walking up and down the road looking and calling her, hoping that she would answer me. Because surely, nobody didn't take her. I couldn't believe it, that somebody took her. I mean, she had to be there somewhere. But she wasn't. She was gone.
She was in her pajamas. We were sleeping.
Okay. All right. You said your back door was wide open?
Yeah, it was brick. Like a brick omelet. Like when I was asleep, it was not like that.
Misty Crosland said when she went to bed that night in this bedroom, HaLeigh was sleeping right next to her. Hours of searching turned into days, then weeks, months passed, and now years. There's been no sign of HaLeigh. After all these years, the wall dedicated to HaLeigh inside her great-grandmother's home has grown. And these two women have been steadfast in their belief HaLeigh is still alive.
And there are too many children in the past year since she's been gone that have been found, and they've been gone longer than she has. But there they were. They were alive. Why can't I keep believing that she's alive? Those children were. And they came back to their families. We just have to wait for our turn. For her to come back to us. For somebody to have the guts or the heart, whatever it takes, to tell us where she is or how to find her.
That pain, you just feel it sitting across from them. Every time I've interviewed them, it's always been the same. Now, there was never any evidence that HaLeigh died, and her body has never been found, as I mentioned, and it's why her grandmothers think that she was kidnapped and just hasn't been able to get away. They hope that now that she is 18 and adult, that she will be able to make her way home. If you have any information about HaLeigh Cummings' whereabouts or what happened to her 12 years ago in Putnam County, please call Northeast Florida Crime Stoppers by dialing 1-888-277-8477.
I know you've kept in touch with investigators through the years. They have their own theories?
They certainly do, and we have talked about it for a number of years here. I want to be very clear. I mean, they do believe that HaLeigh Cummings is dead, as much as her family doesn't want to believe that. They believe that something happened to her and that she died that night, February 10th of 2009. They also believe that the last person to see her alive, Misty Crosland, has not told them everything about what happened. But, you know, she was never charged. She has always denied any wrongdoing. She is currently serving time in prison, a long sentence on an unrelated drug trafficking charge.
And she doesn't get out of jail for, what, another 10 years?
Yeah, 2031 is her release date. Now, HaLeigh's dad, also in prison for drug-related charges, gets out next year. He loves HaLeigh, he says, and he plans to look for her as soon as he gets out. Much more on this story, by the way. Look for the background by searching newsforjax.com/HaLeigh.
All right, you guys, I first want to say thank you guys for coming in and watching us. I don't know what's going on with my phone today. But all my tablet, my computer, everything keeps shutting off. So I appreciate y'all being patient. Thank you for the support. True Crime with Sunshine. So you did a deep dive into this. We would love to hear what your guys' thoughts are. Arctic, Garnett, what do you guys think?
Well, it's like I was saying before we went live. I think that the girlfriend, Misty, is responsible for whatever happened to HaLeigh. She was the last person with her. Her story has changed several times, more than the Wells story has changed. Misty's story has changed and evolved. Yeah. And I find her very suspicious. I mean, all people are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law, and there's not been an arrest made, but I find Misty very suspicious in this case.
I agree.
I agree, but I do think that other members of her family were involved in a cover-up. I don't know whether this baby, there were a lot of drugs in and out of that house. Now, yeah. I'm a firm believer that drug dealers don't kidnap children. That is not common practice. They're not going to steal your child because you owe a drug debt. I don't believe that. What I do believe is that something happened. That baby either had an accident and got into something she shouldn't have gotten into. I believe, any number of things that could have happened that made this child not be alive. And I believe wholeheartedly that probably the brother and cousin had something to do with making this all go away for Misty.
I definitely agree, because there was, the whole party situation, there was witnesses saying that Misty was at a party that night and she brought HaLeigh to that party. I don't know if it was ever confirmed. Do you guys, hold on, let me find the article about that. This poor baby, and her dad is already out. He just got out.
I was going to say, as far as dad goes, I truly believe, all right, dad was into drugs and had a mess of his life. And yes, that's terrible. But I do not believe that dad is responsible.
No, I don't believe dad was involved at all. Dad was at work when HaLeigh went missing, from my understanding. So I don't feel like he was involved. I also feel horrible for both of the children, HaLeigh and her brother, because they were packed into that trailer like a bunch of sardines, from my understanding. Mom, dad, and the kids were all sleeping in one bedroom together.
Yes. And the beds, even, when you say they were sleeping together in one room, that might be okay if you had actual beds, but these were not even beds, guys. These were mattresses placed on the floor. And now I
Oh, thank
know
you, True Crime. So
a lot of people sleep that way, but like when you look at the pictures, they showed some of them in that news article. Like, this was not the best living conditions whatsoever for anybody, let alone a 3 and 5-year-old.
Exactly. Exactly. Lotus is asking if Joe was the cousin, the brother, or friend.
Joe Overstreet was the cousin, I believe.
it was the cousin. He was the cousin of HaLeigh.
He was actually, no, Joe Overstreet was Misty's cousin.
Oh, okay. So I got the wrong. Okay.
Yeah, Joe Overstreet was Misty's cousin. Misty's brother was with him. They say in what their lawyers, what Misty and her brother's lawyers have said from the article that I was reading earlier, was that on the night that this happened, about 12:45, the brother and this Overstreet guy showed up initially to get some World War II era rifle. They were going to go deer hunting or something. I think something was wrong with HaLeigh and that it took a wrong turn right there. And I do believe that the brother and the cousin took HaLeigh and disposed of her.
I definitely the 911 call. You guys, let's listen to it real quick. Hold on 1 second.
Do we know what time the 911 call was made? It wasn't made till after Dad got home, right?
Yeah, well, hold on. Hold on. What did I do? Yeah, because he was home.
Right. I think it was like 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning when Dad got home, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. 911 call. Let's listen to it and then we'll read the article to explain all of it.
Hi, yes, I need an ambulance and a police to my home.
What's the address?
4450 Woodlet Court.
4450 Woodlake?
Woodlet.
Woodlet, okay. All right, 4450 Woodlet Court. What is your name?
My name is John Myers, Jeanne.
Okay, and your phone number is 609.
Yes.
Okay, what's going on?
We had people over last night. We were drinking. Most of us went to bed. One of them stayed on the balcony. She was drinking, and we just went outside and she's laying face down in the backyard. It looks like I'm guessing maybe she fell off the balcony, but she's stiff.
Okay, is she breathing?
I don't know if she's face down.
Okay, how old is she?
Yeah, I saw it.
Here, hold on.
Hey, this is Jose Barrera.
Hey, have y'all checked to see if she's breathing?
She's not moving one bit. She's not breathing. I just try to
This
assess
is
her.
not the right 911 call.
Completely face.
What the heck?
Yeah, that is not the right 911 call.
Oh, look, I'm over here distracted with the messages going back and forth. Okay, so Sunshine, did you send? Okay, Thomas, you sent the link. All right, let me get it together, y'all.
I'm thinking, what is this 911 call?
I don't know. It said the HaLeigh. Oh, okay. Never mind. Look, I'm drinking my Red Bull as we speak, so I will wake up slowly.
Right? Well, you need to get it up there.
I'm the one that woke you guys up, and I'm over here like retarded.
But regardless, they called 911 after Dad arrived home. So Misty, her brother, none of these people, even though they're awake and doing whatever, nobody calls 911 until Dad comes home.
Yeah, so she called, hold on. She called, and I guess she called the dad first, obviously, because when the dad got home, he was freaking out. I remember he was calling her like a dumb bitch, he was going off on her, and he just sounded so, oh my God, you could tell he was hurt, he was scared.
He sounds like any parent would sound in that situation. I mean, I don't believe that we know how we'll react, because I know personally that we don't react the way we think we will. But he sounded like somebody that was truly blindsided by all this.
You now own 1 square foot.
If you shop on Amazon, you should.
Okay, I'm gonna need somebody else to do the whole screen sharing thing. I suck at it. I can't get it together.
I'm on my phone, so I can't screen share right now.
Okay.
And I am not at all set up to be screen sharing. I'll be like you, Lexi.
Well, you guys, this is like our first live where I'm doing this, so I really am sorry. Like, I don't know. I need to get better at it, but I will. It takes a minute.
Right.
It takes a minute. I'm seeing all this, the phone calls right here, but they're not like popping up. So I don't understand what's going on. Share this tab. Okay.
I've been under the weather. That's why.
No. I give up. But yeah, he got home, and she said that, and then she said that the door was
open. There was a brick holding it open or something.
Hold on. And she was the only one home. I don't know how she was way younger than
She was 17.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so she wasn't much more than a baby herself. And she's got a 3 and a 5-year-old that, she's playing house with. I think that for me, that's probably the biggest fault of the dad, is that he maybe should have rethought before bringing her into this situation. But he was in his 20s, right? So
thanks, true crime.
Well, and also it's important to note that HaLeigh had medical issues that she was dealing with too. And I don't think that any 17-year-old child is equipped to deal with another child that's got the type of medical issues that HaLeigh had.
Yeah, so she had Turner syndrome, if I'm not mistaken, where she only had 1 X chromosome instead of 2.
Yeah.
Which caused a lot of developmental issues and whatnot.
Yes, Sunshine, it does sound familiar. This sounds so much like Summer's story, it's not even funny.
I just don't understand, like, when a child goes missing, the last person, like, okay, you can see this young stepmother, and you can see that there's obviously a drug issue, there is all this stuff. There was no sign of any kind of break-in, if I'm not mistaken. She said that there was supposedly a brick, but in one article I read that the door, there was nothing, like the door
Like
was locked.
the door was open and propped open by this brick. Like it was the back door, but I think that it led like almost directly to their sleeping area.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were in a trailer. And in Florida, it wasn't like a newer trailer. This was an older trailer. So anybody that's ever lived in an older trailer knows that there's no security there. Like breaking into an older trailer is not at all difficult. Like I said, for me, I absolutely can't even entertain that some stranger came in and took this baby. I truly think that the key players are Misty and her brother, and but I do believe that, sadly, I believe that it was probably some sort of an accident. And when you throw drugs into the mix, nobody's wanting to get in trouble. They're already being investigated. I'm sure they knew, whether they were admitting it out loud. Anybody that's in the drug thing knows when they got hunches that they're being watched, they're being listened to. So they're probably not wanting to invite the police to the house.
Yeah.
If you're thinking about what is going on in this situation, Misty's 17. They know the police are looking at them for dealing in drugs. They don't want to invite the police to the house to open up for them. So if something happened in her young mind, it might have been easier to deal with it this way.
Mm-hmm.
And sadly, like I said, I my heart goes out to the Cummings family completely, because none of them deserved what happened.
No. All right, I think I found it, you guys.
Are you looking for
Sorry.
analysis of the midterm election based on actual facts and policy?
No.
Why didn't she call cops immediately when she realized HaLeigh was missing? Explain to us the timeline. What happened?
I pulled into the yard. The front door was wide open. She was standing in it. Asked her what she was doing up. She told me that the back door was wide open and HaLeigh was gone. I turned the house upside down and told her to call 911.
And we have heard your 911 call.
I just woke up and our back door was wide open and we can't find our daughter.
Can't find what?
Our daughter.
Okay, what's your address?
Green Lane. What is that, ma'am?
What's the numerical?
The miracle, what's that?
The number? Green Lane?
Yes.
Okay, when did you last see her?
We were just it was about 10 o'clock. She was sleeping, screaming.
Okay, how old is your daughter?
She's 5.
Okay, what was she last seen wearing? Ma'am?
She was in her pajamas. We were sleeping.
Okay, all right. You said your back door was wide open?
Yes, it was brick. It's a brick on the floor. When I went to sleep, the door was not like that.
Okay, the back door, listen to me. Your back door was wide open. What are you talking about, a brick?
Yes.
What is the brick?
It's on the back door, on the stairs. We have a walkway.
Uh-huh. And there was a brick laying there?
Yes, it's still there. They are.
We got them coming. Tell them we got them coming.
They're coming.
Okay, what's the color of your house, ma'am?
It's blue.
blue? Okay. Okay, what does she look like? How tall is she? Give me some description of her.
She has like long hair, curly, like curls.
Long, curled, what color?
She's white.
Okay, what
And
color
she's got hair.
Brown hair?
Yeah. Oh my God, it's freaking old.
Okay, how tall is she about? Or how much does she weigh? Do you know that?
Huh?
About how tall or how much does she weigh?
Like 400, like, I don't know, like, she's not that tall.
Oh my God.
Okay, tell your husband we got him coming, okay?
Okay.
How much does she weigh? Do you know?
Hey, Sun Beach.
Huh?
How much does she weigh?
Like 40, 50 pounds, 60 pounds.
40 to 60 pounds?
Yeah.
Okay, let me get your name and phone number.
My name is...
Spell your last name? Okay, was your back door locked, do you know?
Yes, but that's what always stays locked.
Man, I need somebody to get here now.
Okay, let me speak to him so he
Yeah,
can...
here.
I just got home from work. My 5-year-old daughter is gone. I need somebody to be here now. I'm telling you.
Listen to me. We got 2 officers.
If I find whoever has my daughter before y'all do, I'm killing them. I don't care. I'll spend the rest of my life in prison. I'm telling you, you can put it on record, and I don't care.
Okay, it's okay, sir. We got him on the way. Okay, can you give me what kind of description of her pajamas that she was wearing?
I don't fucking know. I got work.
Okay, sir, we got him coming, okay?
The end of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna get that.
Hello?
Okay, sir, let me talk to your wife. So let me get some information from her. Okay.
Okay, let me pause this real quick. So she called back to speak to the wife. Like, does she not? Why isn't she asking the dad for like description or any of that instead of?
Well, because Dad is obviously not emotionally. If you listen to that call, Misty definitely sounds more together than Dad does. And I think 911 at that time needed to speak to somebody that could focus through their anger. I mean, and Dad obviously was not able to focus through his anger. He was, and rightfully so. I mean, like he said, this is my daughter, and if I find them before you get here, you're going to be taking me to jail.
It sounds kind of like he kind of maybe thought these people that have been around him, like maybe he knew somebody, because he's like, if I find them,
well, you got to remember, he comes home, and you got to think about this. He's going strictly off of what this girl that he obviously is in love with, because when we're young, we're so in love. Is telling him this story, and of course he's believing her. So his only thought right at that minute is that somebody took her. He hasn't had time to process all the possibilities. He's just reacting off what he's been told.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm not saying he knew, but I'm saying like the shady people, or he kind of knew, if he knew that the brother, the cousin was over there the night before. I wonder if like those are the people that popped in his head, or did they not? Did he
I
not
would
know?
love to be able to speak with him and ask him those questions, because who was your first initial gut reaction?
Well, we reached out. The grandmother wrote me back, and she said to give her a few days. The dad just
He
got
just
out.
got out of jail.
Uh-huh.
But he definitely wants to find his daughter. I'm just, like always, I like to hear all sides. But I
Yep.
would love to know what his first initial gut thought was when she said she's gone. Who
Same,
was the
because
first person you thought of?
uh-huh. Let me play the
Can I
rest.
talk to him? Okay.
How the fuck you let my dog go, bitch?
Ma'am?
Yeah.
Okay. Listen to me. I need you to answer some questions. Does the door look like it was pried open? Does it look like it? Does it look like you had some sort of someone
Yeah,
tried to
he's
enter
out.
into your
True
house?
crime with Sunshine.
Hold on.
And another thing, make sure you and your husband don't touch the door anymore.
He is out. He just got out, and hopefully, we had spoke to the grandmother about talking, like speaking to them, helping bring more awareness, and that would be amazing if he would speak out again and give us his thoughts and see what he thinks. It would just be good to hear his side of the story. So hopefully they do get back with us. I know that the grandmother is like so heartbroken on her Facebook group. She's always posting, and it's so sad. But
Well,
I
it
don't.
is. I mean, this child was just ripped from her by actions that she had nothing to do with.
Some beach says Arnold
Exactly.
is
I mean,
no help.
I would love to have Dad on the channel to talk to him, because I don't think he had anything to do with this. I think it was solely Misty and her clan, and it may have been an accident. I don't think Misty hurt her intentionally,
Right,
but
right. That's my whole feeling on this. I don't think that Misty wanted this child. I think she truly wanted to form this whole family that she was brought into. I don't think she intentionally hurt this child, but I do think that something happened that night. I
I
mean,
my
I will
feelings are
say this
mixed.
though, this happened in the 2000s, and sitting there sleeping in a trailer park with your door propped wide open, not a smart move.
right, and that's the thing, is she said, I truly, in my heart, and I don't know nothing, but from day one when they showed the pictures, because around this time I've got little ones, so every missing child was touched my heart. And when they first showed the pictures of the trailer and the way the door was propped open, I truly felt that that was all set up. Like that was all put to look like somebody had propped the door open to get this child out. It didn't look natural to me.
True crime with Sunshine. That would be awesome if we could find him. I'll help you start looking today, actually, um, and see if he would speak out. That would be awesome if we could all be on panel with him as well. Wasn't she pregnant when she went to jail? I think I remember hearing that. Oh yeah, I think I heard that as well. She was pregnant. I don't know what happened to the child. Do you guys?
I have no idea. And that's something that, I'm sure somewhere we could find some information.
Yeah.
Because if she was pregnant, it would have been Dad's baby. I mean, they had been together for a minute, so I would assume if she was pregnant, it was his baby.
Who has custody of HaLeigh's brother, with the parents having been in jail and everything?
Baby. Oh, I'm pretty sure the grandmother, because I always see her posting.
What about the mother of these two older children? I mean, I would hope that Misty, well, we know she wasn't the mother of them. Why do we not hear anything about Mom?
Let me look.
I don't remember even back then hearing a lot about Mom.
Well, Mom was heavily involved in drugs too, wasn't she?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I think she did speak out. Okay, so yeah, she seeks custody. Let me share this real quick. Okay. I'm gonna get like a freaking copyright.
On and his new child bride Misty's alleged drug use. The natural mother, Crystal, who joins us this evening, of the missing 5-year-old HaLeigh Cummings in Florida, says that she will attempt to gain legal custody of her son, Ron Jr. Alongside Crystal there is her attorney, Kim Pacasio. Crystal, to make a long story short, you lost custody, you told me, because your husband essentially outmaneuvered you. I don't want to go deeply involved. You lost custody, and that's on the record. Is it not a fact now, honey, that you are trying to get Ron Jr. back? Why are you trying to get custody of your son back?
Well, I feel like he's in danger where he's at.
Give us another couple of sentences on that. Why?
Well, for one, HaLeigh is missing, and there's a 17-year-old girl watching. I mean, she's practically a child herself, and I mean, I don't feel safe with him there.
And Kim, do you think, given the record, and Crystal admits that she used drugs with Ron, given the record as it exists, do you think that a court would have the courage, given the sympathy that Ron has generated, and that is understandable? He loved HaLeigh by all accounts, however flawed a man he was. Isn't it a very long shot that you'll get custody?
I don't think so. With the things that we have found out through the community members and witnesses who have personally witnessed this man beat his toddler child until he was bloodied, with the evidence of drug abuse, drug dealing. I've had cases that far less offenses, such as failure to pick up from a soccer game timely, was considered as something that could be used to make a change of custody. And we've heard heinous acts. But first, we're going to go through the proper channels and allow DCF the opportunity.
Oh, I'm sorry, you guys. I didn't even mean to change that. I need to get used to this. So I guess when they weren't in jail, she was trying to get custody of Ron Jr. I'm trying to figure out where she is now, though. HaLeigh is already. No. What disease? Fresh evidence on HaLeigh Cummings. No, I want to hear about the mom real quick. I don't don't know. Where is one junior? I don't know, you guys. But I guess the mom was trying to get custody. Oh.
All right, CBS 47's Matt Safer spoke to the family today. Matt joins us live. And Matt, kids, especially this young, they're especially resilient. But the family tells you Ronald Jr. is really struggling with his sister's disappearance.
You know, Paige, he was 3 years old when she was taken. He just turned 4, but again, a 3-year-old boy. And this boy is called Junior. That's what the family calls him. And he calls his sister, HaLeigh, who you're about to see here in just a second, he calls her Sissy. Right now, the family tells me he wakes up in the middle of the night screaming her name. He can't eat. He's having a difficult time sleeping.
Junior told you about what happened that night.
The first Friday I got him, I didn't ask him nothing. He just hugged my neck and said, I want to find my sissy. And a black man dressed in black took her.
What did you ask him?
Yesterday I asked him if he was sleeping, and he said yes, and then he said no, because when he said he was sleeping, I said, how do you know who took him? He said, because he had squeaky shoes. And he said that's what woke him up. Did you go back to sleep, Bubba? Did you go back to sleep after the man took Sissy, or did you stay awake? Was you awake? No. But you heard the squeaky shoes? Sissy didn't wake up when he took her? No?
No one told him to say that?
Did anybody tell you to say that?
You think it's entirely possible that Misty was in the house when your daughter was abducted and your son could have actually seen the perpetrator?
It is possible.
When he goes to sleep, ever since the 4th night she was gone, he's had nightmares. He wakes up.
Is that the great grandmother that you guys were saying passed away? Someone in the comments said that she passed away.
Calling her, he talks to her in his sleep.
The two were very close, sharing a room, sharing meals, and sharing playtime. Annette Sykes is the kid's great-grandmother and says she remembers a time with Junior recently that broke her heart.
He wanted to know if he can have a soda. I came back into the kitchen, and he's pouring drink in a glass. I said, "But why don't you just drink it out of the can?" He said, "This happens for my sissy."
Oh my God.
So, I mean, he's sharing his drink with his sister. It's not even here.
Sykes says explaining to a 4-year-old where his sister is nearly impossible. But she says they keep telling him every day the sister he calls Sissy will be home soon.
What can we tell him? We just tell him that somebody had.
Okay, so they said that she does have custody. Crystal had been on drugs and she's getting herself cleaned up. So I guess they are in contact with at least the, grandmother, the dad's mom, because I see her posting pictures of Christmas and everything with the kids. I tried to reach out. She was living in Daytona Beach. To the biological mom. You guys, this is so, I don't know, all these cases where the kids disappear and nobody gets held accountable, it's just crazy to me. Like right now with the whole Quentin situation and the Casey Anthony, and I don't get it.
It's amazing how many of these cases revolve around drugs.
Yeah. I mean,
and right there, that's the main issue right there. We don't take drug use seriously enough when CYSD, whatever you want to call them, when children youth services come into homes and there's known drug use, they don't take that seriously enough. They think, okay, we got a good a clean urine sample and everything's great, but it's so easy to falsify those things, and anybody can stay clean for a day. I trust me, drug use is not enough to take a child out of a home, but drug use should absolutely say that somebody needs to be in the home watching, and stop telling them when you're coming.
Misty knows who did it. She admitted she was up, so there's no way she doesn't. I mean, I agree. I believe that she knows, or I believe that something happened and she was involved, or HaLeigh took something and
like I said, for me, I have always been more that they disposed of her after some sort of an accident.
And for the brother to say, I mean, it could have been, he could have heard somebody talking about it, or, but for him to say a man in black.
Let's put just to do this.
I bought you guys land in Scotland.
Sorry. Okay,
let's put the brother's story, let's put HaLeigh's brother's story together with the stories that have come out from the lawyers of both Misty and her brother, which says that the brother, Misty's brother, and this Overstreet, the cousin, showed up at the house looking for this rifle so that they could go deer hunting. So if they showed up and something had happened and HaLeigh wasn't breathing, and a 3-year-old just sees this guy in a black put HaLeigh into a bag, which is what the story is, that they put her in a bag and took her to the river and dumped her in.
Yeah.
So, to a 3-year-old, he doesn't know all the backstory. He doesn't know what he sees is a guy dressed in black take his sister. It sort of all fits together to me.
Yeah. Hold on. Sorry, my son wanted cereal. And the river behind, did they search? They had to have searched it, right?
I know they searched, but,
some beach said, no, I really believe that they told him to say that. I kind of, in that situation, like, I know that little kids, they pick up on stuff, and, the mom could have been talking to somebody on the phone, like, this and this and that, and he could have really just overheard it, and it could have stuck in his head.
I'm going to say this, and just from my personal experience. My grandson was 3 when his brother was killed. And he was not coached by anyone. His statement to the police was not clear. and it was not like this little boy's statements were definitely complete sentences that made sense.
Yeah.
And my grandson's sentences to the police, none of that made a whole lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
I've got that transcript from his interview. And that sort of bothers me that this baby who was 3 can remember all of this and acts out in this way. Now, everybody is different, and each child, I had 5 of them, each child is different. But Orion's brother never, even with family, it still isn't comfortable at all talking about what happened. So
Yeah, I mean, you see these kids in these interviews, like sometimes, we did the case, we did one case where we were watching all the interviews and the kids were going into the interrogation room and, they could barely speak, even a little bit of older ones, they were
right.
talking about their brother and they were just very short and they weren't saying a lot. Even when police are asking, so when she was asking her son right there, it did seem kind of odd.
Like he was saying what he has been told to say over and over and over again.
The toddler said that he saw somebody in black take HaLeigh. Sorry if I'm wrong, but it seems so weird he couldn't speak properly on the recording of him, but was clear on that, and his father abused him, in which he lied, saying Daddy never beat me. That is true. Okay, so how did Ronald get custody of his son when it was proven he had beat him and he was not taking?
To me, that's just mom's lawyer. I don't know, and I didn't look into the back history on the mother and father, how Ronald ended up with the kids. But you got to remember, you're talking to somebody that lost custody of her kids. Her story is always going to be her story. The courts apparently felt that Ronald was a better choice than mom was at some point. So, I would really like to be able to find out where Ronald Jr. went to after the fact. For sure. Like, did they giving back to mom? Or did he end up staying with the grandmothers? I went downstairs. Like I said, I am trying not to wake my husband up.
So the grandma helped him fight. He had an amazing mother. Ron.
Some Beach says he was given back to mom.
Yeah. That's what we had just discussed. So he is with the mom. So I guess they were both not in a good place. But if he was doing all that, I mean, shouldn't have the custody, even if the bio mom went to jail, like the custody should have just gone to one of their parents, the grandmas.
Not if there weren't accusations at that time that the court could look at. Not if he hadn't been abusive up till that point. Or not that he hadn't been abusive, but that he hadn't been,
Well, I mean, in my point of view, is that with the extensive history of drug use on both the bio mom and Ron Sr. and everything, those kids, by all rights, should have been taken out of custody of both
Yeah.
of the parents and put with
Yeah.
someone that could properly care for them.
Well, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like, why wasn't that, done at all? It's once again the system.
Failing these children, like I said, that they send their workers in, but it's always a scheduled time. These parents know. I've got CYS showing, or whatever you want to call them. I've got children youth services coming in 3 days a week, so I've got to make sure my house is up to spec. I've got to make sure that I can pass a drug test. Instead of it just being a random, hey, it's 9 o'clock at night and somebody shows up to see if the kids are in bed and if mom and dad are straight, and none of that happens. It doesn't happen like that. It's always scheduled. It's always by
Okay.
the.
Oh, sorry.
I just that's where the first parts break down for me. Is you tell them when you're coming, so of course everything's gonna look pretty.
Somebody said search on here, breaking the silence custody. Is it all about control? Crystal contacted DCFS about abuse prior to Ron. Okay, I don't know why it's just saying he killed her daughter, but his temper went too far. Okay, never mind. But it is saying that Crystal did contact DCFS about abuse. I'll have to check that website out because we don't know what that is. But here is her mom speaking again. And I think she talks a little bit about that if you guys want to listen to it. I mean, we don't know what's true or not, but it's definitely something that we should look more into just because,
Now,
I don't.
Some Beach is in the comments and she says that Ron Sr. had set up a lot. He was very narcissistic. So narcissists are very, very chameleon-like.
Oh my God.
He had a clean UA and the mother did not. He had used his son's pediatrician, I assume is what she's saying.
He heard he used his son's pee.
Oh, okay. I thought she meant that he had used the pediatrician on his side.
She said, unfortunately, when they took my Facebook, they took all my groups. I had so much proof. Yes, because she had a recording of it too, and they ignored it. Oh, wow. Where did you find all that? In Facebook. Yeah, I'm sorry about your groups. They don't take the ones that actually do wrong down, but then they come after like all the little groups and you get in trouble for any little thing. It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
5-year-old HaLeigh Cummings and her family members and other supporters were all taking visuals of a child who has been gone from her home just a few hundred feet from here in Satsuma, Florida, since February 10th, and who is feared kidnapped. In those emotional 11 days, as authorities searched the thick woods here near the St. Johns River in northeastern Florida and chased leads ranging from 17-year-old girlfriend Misty's ex-con cousin up in Tennessee to a sexual predator much closer to home. A bitter divide has
So
surfaced
Some Beach,
Crystal and her family.
was it like community people or like Misty's family that spoke out against him?
Yeah, because his family, like, they talk about how he was a good father and, I mean, he could have cleaned up, you know what I'm saying? Like, he probably took classes if any of this was true, cleaned himself up. And because I truly believe, you know, he had nothing to do with it. But I'm just curious now as to
family had. I'm assuming that she's saying that even some of his family came at her with straight packs.
Oh
So
yeah, she said even some of his family. Oh wow. Wait, what family members was it?
wow.
Well, I'm asked. Hold on. Because I see most of family, like, you know, on his side about stuff. Oh, with pictures. Girl, you need to get that Facebook back up. That group. Voice recordings. Oh, wow.
So it sounds like he was definitely not. I mean, and who knows? He spent how many years in jail?
When?
Now. He's been
Oh.
in jail how long? And when he was in jail shortly afterwards, they all went to jail.
Yeah, it's been a long time. But
you know, I'm sure he's done some self-evaluation.
yeah, 12 years. Yeah, but before this, it's like, okay, so if they had all this proof and this evidence, so it is a CPS failure, and they should have never been in that home at all. Ugh.
Well, like I said, you know, I am definitely all for trying to keep families united. I get that. But I also think that there are so many ways that you could be more secure in the fact that you're leaving them in these homes.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, to me it's just simple.
Okay, let me finish this real quick.
Until this point, they have deflected all questions about each other's character and background, but today, in a series of exclusive interviews, they are letting it all hang out.
I can't do him.
Crystal and her family asked about Ron Cummings
Oh, I just want to hear her.
and his young girlfriend.
He kills me. He's as bad as Nancy Grace.
Television. Most often he is crying or in mourning or other conduct appropriate to a father whose daughter has gone missing. But the family on the mother's side tells a much different story, and a much different image emerges of Ron Cummings. Crystal, is it not a fact that he was abusive to you?
Yes, he was. When I first got pregnant with HaLeigh, he punched me in the back of the head, and before then, he was verbal. I mean, he was just very abusive.
What did he call you?
Stupid bitch, you stupid cunt, you whore. I mean, you name it, he said it.
Describe when he punched you when you were pregnant.
We were living in Leesburg at his mother's house, and
Okay, you guys, hold on, I'm gonna pause this. Arctic has to jump off for a minute. Arctic.
Yeah, I got to run my mom to the store, so I'm going to hop off panel, but I'll be listening in the background and I'll chat when I can.
Hey, I'm back.
I'm back too. I got off while I was I was saying bye to Arctic, but we appreciate you coming on. I know I woke you up early and I wasn't all prepared, like, but you know, when you have kids, you have to take that time. Like I said, like you have to just go. So we kept putting this off and putting this off and putting this off. We could have waited, but I'm glad we didn't, because we're learning a lot of stuff that we didn't know from you guys. So
That's always for me. That's always a bonus when we can learn from the other ones. Like Some Beach, it sounds like you spent a lot of time on this case.
yeah, because I am so surprised at all of that. I never knew any of this. Hold on, let me see. Let me finish this real quick.
We were both doing cocaine, and
Oh God, so she was pregnant doing coke.
I walked in the bedroom, and he was doing it, and I was like, how are you going to do this in front of me after I just found out I was pregnant, and I just stopped. And he got very pissed off, and I had my back turned to him. He punched me in the head, and then I turned around, and he kicked me off the bed.
And he knew you were pregnant when he kicked you?
Yes, he did.
And was he abusive basically throughout your relationship?
The whole time. I mean, his mother knew, his granny knew. His granny even told me one time, I don't know why you're with him. Because I was scared.
Are you frightened of him even today?
Yes, I am.
Why?
Just because of all the things he's done.
Are you frightened that he'll come after you?
Sometimes I am. I mean, he's called and wanted me to come back several times, and I have went back a couple times just to be with my kids, and he was still the same when I left. It hurt to leave him, but I'm not going to put myself through that.
Do you believe his story about what happened?
No, I don't. I mean, I know he loves HaLeigh, and his temper, I mean, it could get bad enough for him to hurt HaLeigh, but I do know he loves HaLeigh. HaLeigh is his heart, and everybody knows that.
Has he ever hit HaLeigh?
My cousin Candace told me when we got down here for this incident that, he come to her house. It was Ronald, HaLeigh, Jr., and Misty. And HaLeigh bumped into him or smarted off to him, and she said he just backhanded her, and she fell flat on her face on the porch.
Marie, you have a picture of HaLeigh.
Yes.
Do you want me to see it?
Yes. You get it.
All right, this is a picture, a disturbing picture that shows HaLeigh with an obvious black eye, a cut on her nose, and a bruise that goes from the top of her left eye all the way down to the left side of her cheek. Now, I understand the school records indicate that she had an accident at school. Are these injuries the result of that accident?
That's what we were told, that she fell at school or was pushed at school by another child, and that she fell catching the sidewalk, and that was the results of it. But if you fall on the sidewalk, why didn't her hands get skint, her knees get skint, more of her face get skint? It just looks like to me if it was right through here, it was.
See, I can't do any of this because
Ron Cummings hit this child?
I don't know if he hit her or she fell down or any other incident happened, but that did not happen.
Hold on, I was about to say the same thing, but hold on.
I can't do any of this because this is a family that's hurting and they're wanting to blame the easiest person to blame, and I get that. Trust me, especially in the early days after something like this.
Told my brother
But
and my fiance that he's 75% sure he knows where his daughter.
I was about, hold on, I'm making my son toast, so I can't pause it yet. But hold on. Here. Thank you, Mom.
He's crying like that. He's not. I know when he's really crying. That is fake.
Okay, let me turn this off.
The 911 call, his emotions was real.
Oh yeah, no, you know,
his emotions were real in that 911 call.
she said, so wait, so the cousin found in the burned car was a female. That was the cousin that was just on TV with her? Is that what you're... Sun Beach, come on panel with us. You know more about it than we do. I thought we were going to come on here and... But Arctic had dropped the what's it called? The link in the comments. If you want to come up, we would appreciate it.
Well, honey, I am not going to be on much longer because I haven't gotten my morning started.
I think we should have got our morning started before we got on. I was like, let's go. And I didn't even have like any of my notes. I didn't have anything, but hey, you know, I do think that what the mom is saying, you know, if there was abuse, I think it's important to know because the children should have never been placed with either of them. But I definitely don't think that the father had anything to do with HaLeigh's disappearance. Did he make good choices? No. But, you know, trusting especially a young girl and you know there's a bunch of people on drugs around you, you're on drugs, like this whole thing is just, oh my god, I didn't hear about that. No, someone said the cousin, oh yeah, somebody, the cousin, HaLeigh's cousin died. Let me pull up that, hold on, in a car. HaLeigh Cummings cousin killed. And that's okay. So Joe Overstreet, Crossland's cousin. No, never mind. The other cousin. Da-da-da. Okay, so cousin of HaLeigh Cummings found dead.
A First Coast family who dealt with the disappearance of their little girl is now dealing with yet another tragedy. The little girl's cousin was found murdered. HaLeigh Cummings disappeared back in 2009. She was just 5 years old. Now her cousin, Germanic, known as JJ Luther Jr., was found dead inside the trunk of a car Saturday morning in Groveland, Florida. That's in the middle of the state. Luther was just 20 years old. He was found dead over the weekend. HaLeigh's great-grandmother, Annette Sykes, has now lost 2 great-grandchildren to tragedies.
I don't know how much more our family can take. He is only 3 years older than HaLeigh, and they were real close. They loved one another. They played together. I mean, she always said that was her brother.
Deputies say that they believe Luther died before his body was driven to that rural location. The investigation into what happened is ongoing. As for HaLeigh, she has never been found.
This is a devastating situation that we found ourselves in with 6.
There's a link, Sun Beach. Yeah, I wasn't sure what cousin, but when I was going on looking at videos earlier, I just saw, you know, her cousin passed away as well. But I definitely think we all agree, like, the dad had nothing to do with it. I wish that was...
I just want to say something real quick. You know, because we're seeing it even here in a case just recently.
Hey, Sun Beach. Sorry, Garnett.
The bad behavior that family members do or don't do should not overshadow the crimes that have been obviously committed around against these children. You know, I get that, you know, he might be a terrible person and a shitty partner and a crappy dad. All of that might be true. But he did not kill his child. And if he hasn't killed his child, then why are we even focusing on him?
Well, because it's just, we're not focusing. We're just, it's another system failure.
It is a system failure, and the child shouldn't have been there. But we see that even in Quentin Simon's case.
Well, the reason.
Hey, Some Beach is on the panel with us.
All right,
The reason he was focused on after is because he married Misty. That's the only reason why, because then they tried putting his lunch break together. They tried putting that she was passed away beforehand because they never did find someone that seen her besides the supposed child rapist cousin that came to the home that night. So that's the reason that they now put it back on Ronald.
All right, so that kind of makes sense. I mean, but once again, I know in my personal life, they focused on people, and the murders ended up with a lesser because we didn't focus on where we should have.
Yeah, it happens too often. So you know what I was thinking, Red Bull? I was thinking that I have a phone. I don't want to promise you anything, but I do have a phone where I had screenshotted and recorded a bunch of this evidence because I didn't understand where the cops weren't going over it. I'm going to look for that phone. It may take me a while, but the other thing is I'm probably not going to remember the password, but let's just pray. And if I can find that, I'll give you all that evidence on there.
That would be awesome.
Because the little boy speaks, they recorded him. I believe I kept a recording on my phone because I tried turning all this over. And they were so focused on basically getting her for the drug charges because they could not get her from. Well, first of all, let's just all say this. When the cops went in that home to begin with, they failed HaLeigh. Let's admit that part. They went in improper. They didn't do the death investigation as they were supposed to. They did a missing child. I mean, it didn't go right. It was supposed to be done way different. They let way too many people in. Way too much stuff was touched. They didn't collect the evidence they needed to have.
So it was basically
from the beginning.
Right. So I agree from the beginning. But Ronald still didn't do this. I mean, not this.
Yeah. So when they went in there, they just basically did like they did what was her name? Oh my gosh. We just blonde hair pageant yes.
Yeah.
Like they just went in there and just were, messy as hell and
sadly, even in today's world, a lot of police departments aren't prepared for that. Like, they don't know what they're doing on that kind of situation when they first go in a home like that.
Yeah, they need to make sure that these people know what to do, and they need to treat it like a crime scene, no matter what what it is. It needs to be treated like a crime scene, so everybody should be prepared to go in there and just do things right. Stop fucking up these cases by not doing your job right. So Missy and HaLeigh's dad were engaged. Yeah, they were.
I think maybe the FBI should have been called in first. Or no one have touched the scene, them secured it like a murder scene with that young of a baby. I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think anytime a missing child is being called in, they should have learned from past cases by now, Like, we got to go in there. We got to take this serious. Even on the 911 call, you can hear the operator telling her, make sure he doesn't touch the door. you know, even the operator was telling them, like, don't touch the door.
But then you
So
hear
they
the
can,
first officer on scene say, "Oh, I didn't look at that." Why? It was on the 911 call. Why didn't you look to see if it was still propped?
Right.
Why didn't you
exactly.
take that brick as evidence? Why was that brick left behind? If that would have been the only evidence, why didn't you take that to begin with? Why do you have to go back for that?
Right. Right.
She said that in
So
the 911 call, admittedly. So why wouldn't you take that? And that whole screen door. I would have took that whole screen door
yeah,
or
they should have
door.
taken. Yeah, they should have taken everything. What do you feel? So have you talked to anybody on like close to the case, or because you know a lot,
Not
like
in
what made
years
you?
since I lost my account. I didn't even go. I mean, I begged them to give it back. I told them what was all on there, that, I had, like, just let me back on for a few days, a screenshot or whatever. But they
Oh,
wouldn't even, my inbox, like, I would have loved to have, taken pictures of all the messages and stuff from his family.
so it was his family like messaging you, reaching out, or posting on your group, just
His family, his friends, um, people that had used drugs with him, people that had seen Crystal get her butt beat, people that had seen Misty get her butt beat by him. Yes.
yeah,
The
they.
little
I believe
boys.
it's both ways, in those situations. When both people are on drugs, like you guys are both toxic. Like I know he's not just doing this. Like you have to be doing something as well. Um,
Yeah. Well, at the time, through the court's eyes, they said it looked like it because he had a job, he had a home, she didn't. I think she had just got out of jail, or they had to bond her out of jail for, I can't remember everything, so I don't want to lie. Like earlier, I told you that was his cousin. No, it was her. She just said it, and it reminded me the name. That was her cousin. Candace speaks a lot. If you get a hold of her, she has a lot of info.
oh my gosh, I feel like
I
we
can't
should
even think of her last
redo
name.
this whole video and reach out, wait till
I can play
people
that so you guys can be impressed.
and see if we can get more information. And because honestly, like we just jumped on. Like
Yeah, but
I
it's
was
still
on my
good getting
phone.
her name out there and getting people talking again. It's still good.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, but I was like, yeah, I'm ready, and I was not ready. I lied. But Garnett.
Ready yesterday, but I couldn't wake up. So I assumed when Lexi said, "Oh, let's do it this morning," that she had taken all day yesterday and I was the problem.
No,
Well,
no,
you're taking
no.
all the time to research it now, so that's great. I mean, you're doing it together. That way you both have the info together. I think that's great. I think it's so wonderful.
That's how, I mean, we usually do cases, and I do have notes. Like I have my notebook somewhere, but literally when I told Arctic and Garnett I was ready, I I thought I was gonna remember everything. But
That's
I definitely think that we should have everything together. And if you want to come on panel and we just do, like a whole another video, and if you could,
let's see. Let's see if we can reach out to some of these people
yeah,
and
Yeah, that
and
would be the best.
yeah.
And if y'all could get Ronald before he gets on back on drugs, not saying that he's going to, please don't get me wrong. I do have faith that, oh, I mean, I don't know what I would do. I mean, by all accounts, everyone will tell you HaLeigh was his life. Like, I know he had 2 kids and possibly the third, but HaLeigh was his everything. That little, like, if if being beat was whatever her spankings were mild compared to, yes, he spanked his kids. Um, Supposedly they were mild. Like she got away with a lot more. The little boy would be blamed for it. Like all that stuff. Supposedly, allegedly. We'll just say
well,
allegedly.
Garnett has, okay. I know, I think you watched our lives where we talk about Orion, her grandson, and
No.
her daughter. Um,
No.
So Garnett kind of knows a lot about, drug substance use, and her grandson died. He passed away from his uncle and his uncle's bitch fucking wife.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
And her,
Hold,
well, I'll let her, Garnett, you want to kind of,
hold,
because
let
it
me.
reminds me of, Ashley, like
Well,
she did
it
prison.
just explains why I'm doing this. Why when you brought this up that I agreed to it. My grandson was 5 years old, and my daughter was involved heavily in drugs. She knew she was going to be arrested. She sent the boys back to their father. There were 3 boys. And their father was in a situation apparently
True
where
crime. Will you post those pages? Sorry, go ahead.
where he couldn't he wasn't in a living situation to take care of all the kids. But instead of contacting me or another responsible family member, he decided that it would be best to take the 2 youngest boys to his brother's house. And with that said, he took them to his brother's house. He didn't expect his brother to murder my grandson. But that's what happened. My grandson died. His younger brother was there. The living conditions were horrid. And to even see what the house looked like, it was the middle of winter. He died in February. There was little to no heat, no food. There were medications and alcohol all over the house.
Oh, bless his little heart.
That I have are horrid because I needed to know everything. So I have read all of it, but the common factor is drug use, and there was drug use in my daughter's life. There was drug use in the brother's life, the uncle's life. Dad was not a drug user, but Dad was an alcoholic. So
which is equivalent.
Exactly. It's substance abuse.
And my thing is, like, Ashley, her daughter, which was Orion's mother, she went to prison and she's out on parole. But that kind of situation, when you do prison time for a long time, I mean, they don't always go back to drugs, and
Wait, the
hopefully.
murderer. Wait, the murderer's girlfriend is out. Is that what you're saying?
No.
No, my daughter is out of jail. They tried to pin the case. That's why I sort of want to focus on the murderers, not necessarily who else was responsible. My daughter was responsible. My daughter abandoned her children. I will say that
she gave them to their father.
That's what I always tell Garnett. Like, she gave him, she gave him to a person.
Thought that she was doing the right thing by giving them to the biological father.
Yes.
I mean, that's what you would do too.
Exactly.
Not to think that he would be an irresponsible to give them away too.
It's somebody
I
we're
try to work
supposed to
through
trust.
this, guys. I'm not perfect. I do try to work through it. But yes, she did give them to the father, and the father made the decision to take them to the brother.
So she did what she could, and maybe her brain was affected as well.
And
definitely.
that's why I have to sometimes remember, because sometimes I do speak, like I'm speaking about Ronald's past, because I think it is important, because CPS
It is important in this
failed.
situation.
But Garnett, it's nothing towards Ashley, because Ashley, what addict do you know? Really, there's not a lot of them that are gonna be like, look, I'm not in the right position. Like, let me
None.
let me
Very rare.
put the child with their father, so it's
And you're
different.
right. You're right. I don't
respect that a whole hell of a lot more than most of these women or dads too.
Exactly.
Like I said, I'm not perfect, and I do, and I still am working through all of that because
You have a right to be upset.
I'm
You would have
definitely
loved
very
them.
bitter that nobody decided that I should have the boys when this all occurred.
Do you have
Garnet,
the boys now?
They would have been safe. They would have been warm, and they would have been fed.
Garnet had
Do
cancer
you have
at the
them
time.
now?
No,
Who
I do
has
not.
the other babies? No.
Their father does. I fought and fought. I can't.
But
Their
Ashley's
father.
So she did what was gonna be legally, what the courts legally would have forced her to do either way.
Right. You're right because but I guess where I was going with that was that drug abuse and substance abuse, as a parent, you hope that they don't go back to that.
Yeah.
And I would hope for Ron that he's been in jail long enough that and thought about what has happened. I mean, but substance abuse is a disease, and it does affect your mind. You're thinking nothing.
Right.
You don't think like we do. We think, okay, we lost a child. We're never going to do this again. Where a drug
No, it
user,
hurts so bad that you've lost your child that you have to numb it at times. They just have to find a more responsible way to numb it versus that.
right?
And that's what she's doing. Ashley's getting, she's out now. She's in a
Because
place.
she went to jail. Wait a minute. Ashley went to jail for unrelated crimes. She did not go to jail for anything related to Orion's death. She went to jail for unrelated crimes and crimes that happened a year later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she went to jail
But she
for
did
more
the most respectable, responsible thing possible. She was out for a year and her children were safe for a year?
No. He died. Which she knew she was going to go to jail. She sent them with the father. He died before she ever even got caught up in the charges then. He actually went on the run before Orion died. She was in jail. I am the one that told her where the boys were at. She called CYS when she found out that the boys were with the brother. And said, that she didn't think that they should be there. They needed to investigate. And CYS in the county where they lived called CYS in the county where the brother lived. The CYS came to the county where the brother lived, and they said they went to one house, which was a family member's house, and were told that the boys didn't live there and they didn't know where they were at. And CYS just stopped looking. Like they were like, okay, they're not there. Now, I can show you the boys were a half a block from the police station. CYS can't find these children, but they're half a block from the police station.
I'm on the phone.
There's a lot in that case, and we can post a link. I've got articles. My daughter spent 18 months in jail because they charged her child endangerment, manslaughter, a couple other charges. Yes, she spent 15 months in jail because they said that she left the kids and
with their responsible father?
Hey,
did he go to jail too?
Yeah, they were both in jail for 15 months.
Okay. As long as he went too.
Well, actually, the judge here said, that you don't have a case against these parents. Dad left them with his brother, and mom left them with dad. So nobody you know, you don't expect your brother to kill your kid. You just
But
you
what's
can't.
CYS's charges? Where's their charges
Nothing.
for not looking for these babies? Where's their charges for not
Absolutely
making sure
nothing.
that
And
that mother
Ashley
was safe
wasn't
with
the
her
only
kid?
one that called. There was another woman that called wanting to know where these children were because
Wow.
it was one of the father's ex-girlfriends had called CYS too before Ashley got out of jail. Ashley, when she got out of jail for that initial little bit of time that she was in when Orion was put with his uncle, when she got out of jail, she actually went to the dad's house and kicked in the door. There was a police report and everything about it.
So you can't say she didn't do enough. She tried.
She did try. She did try, and that's what was so infuriating. Let me just tell you how messed up this entire situation was. And I hate getting on Orion because I feel like I take from everybody from the other story, and that's not
But
what I
it
mean.
has Orion's
And we'll
case.
come back with HaLeigh.
Orion,
Once I can find proof and she can do research on it. So
definitely, because Orion's case has a lot to do with a lot of the
well,
cases.
he's
We even
important
went.
too.
We have a video of we did on Orion, and we still have more.
I'm gonna go watch that.
Yeah, we still have more because Garnett
I
has
have a box of all when they charged Ashley with manslaughter and child endangerment. That made her part of this murder investigation. So she got all the evidence that they had against her, against the murderers. So I have a box full of everything. I've got the interviews, I've got Caleb's
Was he
statement.
beat to death or starved to death?
What was that?
Was he beat to death or starved to death?
He was beat to death.
Oh my God.
A homemade blackjack. Now, when I say that, they had a piece of metal that was wrapped in electrical tape. My baby had 21, and I can't say the word right, but what it is 21 bruises on his brain.
Hematoma.
Yes, that's the word. Not.
Oh my God.
He had 21 bruises on his brain.
Wow.
Not one skull fracture. Now, the father, because it's his brother, wants to completely believe that this baby fell down a flight of steps.
21 plus times.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
A bite. He had 2 bite marks. He had bruising on his belly. He had a laceration on his cheek. And I've got all the pictures. I've got all of this. I needed to see it all. So, but
we do have a Facebook group for Orion because
Yeah, I was gonna ask if I could join something like that.
they're going to be coming up for probation next year, which
they're going up for parole.
Yeah.
And we need all the help we could get. Garnett, like we're asking people to write letters to send to Garnett because, parole.
I am in Pennsylvania. And in Pennsylvania, only the family can go to the parole hearing. Only the victim's family. So I'm sort of one voice, and I just don't want them. They've only been in jail for 8 years. They spent 5 years in county jail. So, because it took 5 years for them to even take this case it didn't even go to trial. They got a plea deal.
We can't let these monsters, and they won't. Like, it's disgusting.
I am scared to death that if they get out, that poor Caleb, which is my youngest grandson, will have to have Christmas dinner with the murder of his brother.
Because his dad still speaks to the brother, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. his dad is absolutely determined, even after them pleading guilty, that this was an accident.
It is disgusting. I don't get it.
I don't either, and I was going somewhere, but then I get wrapped up in the story and I forgot where I was going.
Well, we were going with, the whole drug thing because, people on drugs, and if something happens, like your child dying, some people when they get out or whatever, they clean up, especially, so Ronald getting out, doing that much prison time, hopefully he cleans up and helps find justice for HaLeigh.
Right. Hopefully this will be a new, fresh start for him.
Mm-hmm. We always end up discussing Orion because it's just, Garnett's kind of been there. Her family has been there, and they've been drugged through the mud. Like their words have been switched around. Like people were talking about them horrible. So when we talk about people that are not guilty, like, and are being dragged through the mud, it's kind of like she's been in that situation. So
yeah, I was told how they wanted to kill my daughter. I was told how our house should be burnt to the ground. I was told, and I get it. Mm-hmm. Everybody was angry. I was angry, but also, let's get the entire story before we break out the pitchforks and start going after people.
Right. I agree.
But Sun Beach, how can we get the?
I just did an ad request to his group.
Oh, okay, we definitely add you.
Yeah, because I seen you were on there, Red Bull, so I know it's his group.
Yeah. So
my heart breaks.
It's definitely it's horrible. It's disgusting what these people did. And we're gonna keep doing videos and bringing awareness for him, because if they even try to get it out, if they let them out, I don't understand how
how many years did they get on this plea bargain?
They got 8 to 20 years. They have to serve 8. But they got 20 years, but they have to serve 8.
That's embarrassing.
Yes, it is embarrassing.
But I've always heard Pennsylvania is so slack on their law.
And the case was mishandled. The DA was the principal of the high school. It was her brother. And the principal had a serious issue with my daughter, which is how the charges against my daughter become more important than the charges against the murderers. You'll never convince.
No.
You'll never convince.
She allowed back in her kid's life?
She is currently talking to the 2 boys. She is currently, and I try to be very careful because I don't want to do anything to jeopardize that.
Harm it, yes.
That's why his group is private. Because I don't want to jeopardize her relationship with her children. But I still want justice for Orion, and I have told her. And
it's hard.
Yeah, she has told the father, I know your brother did this, and I will never forgive him, and we are going to keep him in jail as long as we can. So, it has been said, but I don't necessarily want to add to that conflict between them. This is a grandmother begging to keep these people in jail, and that's what I wanted to keep that as.
Ugh.
But Ashley is in that group. They used an interview that I encouraged Ashley to do on the news against her because for 2 days, for 2 days, she sat at my house and they kept all the news. You know, we live in a very small area. We've got less than 5,000 people in our town. So they kept doing the news interviews and they kept saying an unnamed child. And that drove her crazy. Like she would cry. She would lay in my lap and cry and talk about, Mom, he had a name. He was loved.
Oh, but the news isn't allowed to release it at all.
Right. So I said, let's just do an interview. I said, that'll give him his name. And we did that. And that's when they pressed when they started building a case against her and Danny.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, you know, so much of this I understand from a level that I wouldn't have understood 7 years ago.
Right.
You know, the media plays so much in it. The corruption in law enforcement is outrageous, especially in small towns. You know,
So
because
his case happened about the same time as HaLeigh.
No, he's only been gone 7 years.
I thought you said they spent 8 years in prison and 5 in jail.
No. They had spent 5 in next year. They'll be in jail for 8 years.
Okay.
5 this, you know, in county jail because the DA
and 3 in prison.
They'll have 3 in prison. Yes.
Okay. Well, how did they count the county jail? Was that counted? Like, is that counted into this 8 to 20 years?
Yep.
Oh.
The original, because what happened was the DA that had filed the charges actually got voted in as judge of our county. So he can't do anything with this case any longer. The new DA, because he wouldn't even talk to me. The old DA wouldn't even talk to me. The new DA, when he got into office, of course, the first thing I do is reach out to him because, you know, at that point we were like 4 years in and I'm still not getting any results. I just want them to go to trial. You know, let's move this forward. And when the new DA got in, he was like, look, honey, I don't know with what I have. He says, I'm going to have to offer them manslaughter pleas.
Oh.
And of course, I bawled. Like, I just bawled. I was like, that is not good enough. They murdered my grandchild. And he worked on the case and was able to get a murder 3. That's what they agreed to, which isn't what I wanted. But that word murder was so important to me.
Right.
That's what they did. They murdered him.
Yes,
I have the prove it.
Regardless how they were living, how the kids were dropped off on them, why didn't they drop them back off if they didn't have food and a clean home and admit that they couldn't care for them?
I went, there's so much to this. I went to their house. They were dropped off right after Thanksgiving in 2016. Or, well, it would have been 2015. It was November of 2015 when they were dropped off. Orion died February 3rd of 2000.
Wow.
I went right after I found out that they were, because the brother lived in the same town that I live in. So I went to the brother and said, hey, let me see the kids. I wasn't allowed to bring the kids to my house, but he set up a meeting that I could go to his aunt's house. I spent a few hours with the boys and I took them gifts. I took them outfits. We spent quite a few hours. I've got tons of pictures from that visit with them. Then on Christmas Day, well, I had offered to help them get beds and whatnot. I was told they didn't need beds. When I found beds, I was then told that they had gotten them and they didn't need them. So at Christmas, I had blown him up the couple days before Christmas, and he was like, oh, we're doing this and this and this. I said, well, I just want to see the boy. So he agrees that Christmas night that I can come over and bring them their gifts. And when I go over there, they're in the outfits that I gave them shortly after Thanksgiving. They're filthy. And I am livid. Like, he wouldn't let me in the house. We stood on the street corner. I gave the boys their gifts. I hugged, I kissed them. When I walk away, I'm on my phone with the father, and I'm livid. I'm like, look, I can't do this. I'm telling you, if you're not here to pick these boys up by January 1st, I am calling everybody that I have to. I said, I will kidnap them if that's what it takes, but they can't be there no more. And he reassured me that he was going to pick those boys up January 1st. He told me everything's good. I got a place. We're set. I'm going to have them. Well, Danny and I, the father, had never had a good relationship. We didn't talk on a daily basis. So I had assumed that he had gotten those boys then. As Lexi said, I was also battling stage 3B lung cancer at the time.
Oh, blasted.
So, and I was in the middle of moving. I was moving from house to house. And on February, it couldn't have been February. It had to have been the last day of January. So January 31st. If that was a Sunday, that was the day my daughter had went down to, and she was only 16 at the time, but she'd went down to the dollar store and she seen Orion with Snuffy, with the uncle. And she come home and she said, Mom, why is Orion still here? And I said, I don't know. She says, well, Snuffy wants you to call him. And this was like 9 o'clock at night. And like I said, I was very tired. We were moving and I was doing chemo and radiation. And I was like, I just don't have the energy. This is what I'll never forgive myself for. It was my mistake.
Not your mistake. You didn't know. Do not blame yourself.
I do, at 2 o'clock in the morning, I do.
If you would have known the outcome, you would have changed it, right?
Oh, definitely.
Right.
But, it's that demon that's always going to fight with me. I had to work that Monday. And it completely skipped my mind. Tuesday morning, I sent a message to the number that I had for them. And then my sister-in-law called me. And she said, are your boys still in town? And I said, well, I just heard that they are. And she says, you need to get down there. She says, I just got a phone call. She's a beautician. And she says, I just got a phone call from one of my clients, and the coroner's van is sitting in front of that apartment building. So I, in the middle of February, ran out of my house with no coat, no shoes. and ran around town like some crazy woman. And I ended up at CYS office, and they had told CYS that there was no family in the area, that they were his only family, that his father was in Crawford County, and it was definitely, you don't know how you will react in that situation. So I never
No, you
judge.
don't.
It definitely, like I said, we have to be very careful on how we judge people. There is absolutely one person or two people, the ones that actually took the life. That's who we need to look at.
I agree.
And now that we've been on here 2 hours, and Lexi, where are you? I think Lexi fell asleep on us.
No. Can you guys hear me?
I hear you.
Wait, why is there two? There's two of me in here.
I don't know
where echoing.
Juilliard's been messing up lately, they say.
Hold on, you guys. Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Okay.
We hear you.
Let me back out.
Well, I'm so sorry that happened to you, but honestly, like the thing, I have the same exact thing, except for it was my sister. So it's a little different. The story's long. I'll tell you in private message. But there's things that I wish we could have done differently, but we didn't know. Had we have known, would we have changed it? Absolutely. Did I sit and blame myself? Absolutely. But I had to come to the realization that if I could have fixed it, I would have. Just like you're speaking out now for Orion, that you're helping other people with other cases. So you're trying to change other kids' situations and other people's situations. So at least you're doing something about it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We are all human. We all make mistakes, and there is not one of us that is going to live any amount of time on this earth and not make mistakes, not have regrets. That's life.
Correct.
It's the way you stand up and take responsibility. It's the way you try to help others so that they don't have to make the same mistakes.
I agree 1000%.
And if each and every one of us can be just a little more compassionate, give a hand up. Don't kick people when they are down. If you see your neighbor struggling, maybe instead of making just phone calls, maybe if you go and say, hey, is there something I can do? Is there a way that I can help? Be decent.
Yeah, that would make a tremendous change in a lot of things. It really would.
It definitely would. Lexi, did you make it back?
Yeah, but I'm echoing, and it says I have like 3 people in here.
That's all right, because I'm going to have to jump off of here because I said an hour ago I needed to get my day started.
Right? Well, I appreciate Sun Beach for you to come on. You know a lot about this place, and hopefully we can get more information.
Mine's messing up. Can you hear her well, or is it just my end?
No, it's definitely her connection. She's got something going on. I think we're just going to go ahead and wrap this up for today. And then
I'll look for the info with the phone. I do have a lot of that saved. I know I saved a lot of it. So I will look for that, and if I can find it, which is going to take me some time because my garage is loaded brim to brim, but I'm going to pull out Christmas. So, or door to door. I said brim to brim. I don't know what I'm thinking. If I can find that and get into it, I'll give you all of it if you're willing to,
Oh,
go
absolutely.
through it and respectfully put out some of it. Some of that against him needs to be put out as allegedly and rumor. I didn't put out because, it was rumors.
Well, and see,
Um,
that's one thing that we really, really try to do. Because of my personal history and Lexi, we try to stick to facts. And if it's an opinion, we give that too, but we state that it's just our opinion.
as long as y'all are willing to do that, I'll give you every bit of it, and y'all can sort through it. If I can even find it, I don't even want to get your hopes up. I wasn't going to say anything, but I know I've saved that phone. I do know that for a fact. I just don't know where I would have put it. So
if you
I will
happen to
give
find
y'all
it,
over all the info. I'll
willing
make
to
y'all a copy
learn.
of all of it.
Awesome.
Okay, I'm back. Can you guys hear me?
Oh,
Yes, we hear you now.
Oh,
yes,
I
yes,
swear,
it's
I
fine.
need to go through a YouTube class. We will get
Well,
this one day.
I respect you a lot for putting out that and on her. I've been spreading it everywhere. Where even my friend Savannah shared her post. I was like, please don't share her. She is a scammer with that other girl. That's why I respect you a lot. Instead of letting our community keep getting scammed, somebody says something. When we catch them doing it, call them out.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, with darkness exposed. Oh my
Yes,
gosh.
I
Oh,
respect
thank
you a
you, Six
whole
Sense.
hell of a lot.
6 Sense, we kind of we're gonna do another
Yeah,
video
with a
on
little bit more
Haley,
facts and research.
but thank you for showing up, 6 Sense. But yeah, definitely darkness exposed. I mean, I feel like even with everybody exposing Molly and exposing Dolly and whatever freaking Betty Horn, whatever the freak her name is, like I don't, I feel like it's not gonna
Yeah.
help any. People are
We
still.
got them shut down. They're shut down.
Wait, what?
We got them
I
shut
just
down. They're shut down.
no, I just saw Dolly like this morning, I think.
No, nope. You had to have seen recorded. Well, they are allowed to stand there from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., but they
Oh
cannot sit
yeah,
down. They cannot
yeah,
sit down no more. They cannot scream over a certain decibel. They
Good.
can't. There's so many rules now that they cannot do.
Good.
So at
Good.
least that'll calm down. Dolly also went to jail. Did you see? He got arrested.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. I
Yeah.
thought you meant on
So
YouTube they got shut down. I was like,
No,
what?
we
oh
just
no. But they're not allowed to extort baby Clinton right now. So that was our
right.
biggest worry.
Yeah, because
So
that
at
was
least that's
bullshit.
yeah. Well,
Yes.
everybody said you're like they're calling me a baby killer protector. They're calling please that. They're calling rap that. Well, no, I'm sorry, but no, one thing doesn't lead to the other. You're making hand over fist and money. What are you doing
Mm,
with that money? Are you putting it towards another victim? Are you putting it towards something to change for baby Quentin? No, you're not.
No,
So why do you need to be out there except for to make more money off this baby's tragedy?
which is
exactly.
disgusting.
It
Absolutely
is.
disgusting.
It
Like
is.
no reason ever.
The
And at
video
no
that he
point,
made this morning, I think it was, he was like, well, you know, the money that we get from people that is used to travel to do stuff like this, like it doesn't take care of us. It doesn't, and I'm
uh,
like, bro, you just made like 4,000 freaking more than that.
no. We're talking about $40,000 alone he made off of baby
Forty
Hugh West
thousand
Clinton.
dollars.
$40,000. Somebody's counted up his super chat, his
Oh,
memberships
God.
that's went up.
Oh,
Not that he already had his memberships that's went up,
Oh,
and the well, we will never know what he got Cash App or Venmo or any of that. But all of the subscribers, all those super chats and super stickers, all of the stuff that they can actually count, they've counted over $40,000.
that is sick. That
It
is
is.
disgusting.
And that's
one day Betty was it? Yeah. One day Betty made $5,600 for just standing out there. Because she's saying that we're defending a baby murderer. That's not what was happening. We were defending the neighbors. We were defending, yes, the grandmother. Because let me tell. Is she somewhat responsible? Yeah, she'll beat herself up for the rest of her life. But is she legally responsible?
No.
No, she's not.
She
So
was not
there's a
there.
difference.
Yes, that's what I just said.
So wait,
let's focus on the murders.
You could get a hold of Savage, right?
Yeah.
Because I was telling Garnett a couple days ago, I didn't even know you guys had somebody out there, and I live, really close. And I was telling Garnett, like, I'm gonna pull up. Especially Molly was talking shit to me over her freaking YouTube thing. I was like, oh my god, no! Like, I'm gonna show up.
I wish I would have known that.
I was
Did you see what happened with the girl we sent out there?
Yes, and I didn't know you guys were out there, so I was about to go tomorrow, and I'm like,
whoop. Wait a minute. We didn't send her out there. Let me correct that. We didn't send her out there. She went out there on her own, but we supported her out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to correct that before we got. You
Yeah,
did.
because somebody will snatch that and make it a big deal.
Yeah, they probably already have, but.
Well, they can fuck off because she went out there on her own, and we all
she's a grown
supported her.
adult.
I didn't even know she was out there, but hell yeah, I supported her when I saw her out there. I was like, yeah,
Well, did you see that 6 foot something grown man going out there going at her like that?
Yeah, and then he's like, "Oh, I didn't do anything. I didn't, I didn't touch her. I didn't." But she's an older lady, and the way that you fucking yanked her arm,
That's Dolly. That's what Dolly did.
yeah, and he lives. We just watched a video last night. I didn't know that his brother was a sex offender, a registered sex offender.
Not only is he a sex offender, he's an incest, his own child.
Oh, wait, what?
His own daughter.
Oh, God.
Yes. And his mother also had custody of kids. God rest her soul. I'm not trying to bash her. But just to show you how irresponsible. Dolly's child is of age, by the way. She's an adult. But the mother had children that she had taken on. I don't remember whose kids, like a niece and nephew maybe, or foster kids. I don't know what they were. And they were found wandering the roads more than once. Dolly also has animal abuse where he hurt or killed the animal. It says it on his charges.
Oh my God.
Did you see that?
No. Because I never even knew who these people were before this. Until I saw them out there, and I was like, oh, hell no. I knew who Molly was because that's who I was going to show up for, because this bitch, she doesn't know where I come from. She doesn't know what the fuck, she's like this fucking stuck up fucking, she's not really about that fucking life. So I was going to show up and show her the fuck out and show her, I don't care. She could, whatever. But
honey, you're all alone. You can't just go do that shit.
I can.
Well, I mean, you would go to jail for it, but the thing is that standing out there looking classy and doing it like how it happened looks so much better than what actually happened. And they tried to change it, but unfortunately, it's all on video. So they're not going to be able to twist that. But a lot of their followers, girl, if they found out that there was animal abuse, not animal neglect, we're not talking about neglect. We're talking about physical abuse on an animal. Charges on him and on women. His ex-girlfriend speaking out called It's a Mood. That is her channel.
What is it?
You should really listen to her.
It's a mood.
Okay, will you send all this?
Her name is Messa.
Will you send all this to us in Messenger?
You want me to put it in the back? Oh, actually, I found you on Facebook. So
yeah, just add us, because we're gonna need to get together for the whole HaLeigh thing and see who we can get a hold of. Anyways, Um,
So my real name
that's
is Summer, just so you know when you look at the group. My real name is Summer. So that's
okay.
why it sounds.
Did you add the Justice or the Red Bull page? Oh wait, you
I
can't add
added
Red Bull.
this justice.
Okay.
All
Wait,
right, guys.
Dolly has convictions for animal abuse. 6 cents. Yeah, that's what
Yes,
some
ma'am. It's plastered. I have it in screenshots, but it's on I think Savage put it out too, or Pirate did. Savage's friend, which I think she also put out. It's
how
on that.
why are people like this? Why are they allowed to be on fucking social media being so-called fucking influencers, creators, whatever the fuck? And they, I mean,
You
okay,
want to know the
everybody.
real truth? Because YouTube has made so out of that 40,000 I just told you that we can prove, YouTube
Mhm.
got 33% of that.
Right.
That's what I can tell you right now. So
Yeah,
why
so
they won't take him down? There's also a fake PI that I go after, and
there's a
he makes similar monies. What'd you say?
there's a who?
Are you there?
Yeah,
A
can
fake
you
private investigator that I go after. He's a very sick man.
hear? Uh-huh.
He was involved in the Dillard Rounds case. I don't want to say his name on your channel because I don't want more people to go look for him. I'll text you it.
Okay.
But the reason we have done everything known to get his channel taken down because he honestly gets a mental disabled child. Well, she's not a child, she's an adult, but mentally she is not. He makes fun of her. I mean, he calls people of color names.
Oh my
He
god, I
bashes
can't.
women. He bashes fat women. He bashes a woman with a birthmark. I mean, you name it, he said it on YouTube. Every terms of service agreement that's on there, he has broke each and every time. And there's nothing we can do. And I'm talking about I have a group of over 150 people that actually do the research and go after him. And I can't get nothing done because
Can we
YouTube is
get a
making good
right?
money.
There's nobody we could write. There's nobody that
Yeah,
you know.
there's only one way to get a YouTube channel taken down, which Dolly already knows it. So, but you have to tag them and the CEO of YouTube on Twitter. We've done it. I need it in mass numbers, apparently, to get them to do anything or it to grab it. Well, I didn't build my Twitter. I didn't start building my Twitter until recently. So I don't have the Twitter backing that I do like on Facebook.
Yeah, I don't use Twitter a lot.
So
But we can make a Facebook group for people that want to go on their Twitter and like do this.
well, I
Like,
added the YouTube, all that YouTube people just when I got this Twitter up and going so that I could hopefully start being able to tag them in every group and just put a video of each of Dolly's and JT's. I want to go as hard for both and try to see, like, that if they'll shut down. Dolly's broke all the terms of service. Molly, she's actually done it too online. I mean, she showed her boobs online.
yeah, she's gone these fucking party chats.
See that? Wait, no, nobody wants to see that.
No, nobody wants to
Apparently
see
her
that.
people do. They don't care what she does. They allow anything she wants to do. They're okay with it. Doesn't matter. I say, and I mean this wholeheartedly. If Dolly Molly, I don't think BHB is much. It has as many worshippers. But those two have worshippers. If they literally killed someone on the internet, online, on YouTube, these people would literally say it was self defense or they didn't do it or a ghost came behind her or whatever to get her off them
There'd be
charges.
public for it. 6
Right.
cents. I just want to say
I
you
was
cracked
about
me.
to say that is Garnett's freaking word. And when she said that the other day, I was like, what? See you next Tuesday. I can't believe I'm the only one that has never heard that. What the fuck?
I
You have
told
never
you.
heard that?
No, like I always just say
Oh.
it. Like I'm
My
Dang.
husband hates that word, so We always see you next Tuesday.
I have never heard anyone say that. Like, I've never. What the fuck?
All right, Lexi, I am going to get off of here.
Okay.
I love you.
I
Guys,
love you too.
like, share, and subscribe to our channel and everybody's channel that's affiliated,
Some Beach.
Have a great day.
You know I'm subscribing to now for live because of calling out somebody that does that. That's it for me. That shows
Yeah.
morals and respect.
Exactly. And we have something. Well, we'll talk to you in Messenger.
Yeah,
'cause
I'll
we
talk
have
to you
something
too
else
in private.
coming up. But yeah, we appreciate you guys. You guys go subscribe to Some Beach. Subscribe
I
to.
don't do content on YouTube.
Oh, you don't?
No,
Oh, okay.
I don't do it. See, that's what I was saying. Everything I do is on Facebook, and I need to move it to the other channels, but
You don't want to
yeah.
do a YouTube, or you?
No, I just
Girl, you know so much though. Like, I was so surprised when you started like speaking all this about Haley's
well, that's the
case.
case because of. I'm not gonna say I didn't follow Kaylee's case just as hard, but I really just thought that she was underdone. Like, for every one person that HaLeigh had supporting her, Kayleigh had 1,000. And it was just because of her mother's looks and because of the drug use on Ronald and Crystal. So that's why I fell so hard for HaLeigh, because right away I was like, she at least has two which HaLeigh did have two grandparents that were standing up for her. And her bio mother straightened out her life. I don't know why. I just felt so much sympathy that I knew right away Kayleigh's gonna overshadow HaLeigh, and their names rhyme. Like, they're both beautiful. Like, it's not gonna be fair at the end of the day, and it wasn't. So that's kind of why.
Well, I'm glad you did
Plus,
that.
we were talking
because-
over a news broadcast, and the cousin started talking in the family, and I was like, "Oh, we need to get somewhere where we could all talk." And then they started
no, it's
sending friends
definitely
and stuff.
Facebook is definitely just as good as YouTube, bringing awareness, especially groups. Like, we have a large group for Kyron Horman. I have the large group for Quentin. It has like
I'm probably
15
in one of your groups for Clinton. Then I'm in every group except for Mary's. Now I got booted out of Mary's
Well,
because I'm Queen's mod. Mary, that
like,
girl that sat there every day,
who?
dry begging. The girl Mary that sat there live, dry begging every day.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
So, do you watch Queen Bee? Yeah, you do. I see you on there.
I just started watching, like, when I never even knew, who like Savage, Queen Bee, any of them were until I saw that lady out there, and I was like, oh my god, I was about to do the same thing. Like,
I wish I would have talked to you sooner, because what we needed was her to win as a friend, not foe, and got what they were privately saying with the pill usage, all the drugs that were being brought in, all that stuff. That's what we really needed on tape. Instead of her sitting alone, she should have sat with them and faked that she was some subscriber and supporter. And that's what I was trying to do, but I live 5 hours from there. I should have done it myself, but I didn't. I've been sick, as you can hear.
I know. I do hear it. I hope you feel better.
I'm getting way better.
I think that this, if it didn't show any of their true colors to anyone, I don't think that anything
you're right
would have been any different if there was drug. They could have gone to jail for it, whatever. But we just have to keep pushing it. These people just like darkness exposed, like, several other creators after we did our video did a video as well, and it just takes multiple people. Like, we just need to keep spreading it. And
I do on every comment. Anyone that shares her, I comment. I'm like, I can't believe you would support her. If you know this, can you watch Red Bull's video? you guys need to start waking up and stop spreading people, especially when that PM came out and then it was said it was from the grandmother, it wasn't from the uncle, it was from the uncle, it was said it was made up, it was said all this. Why did you just originally believe it instead of, like, I don't know. And why did she spread it
Exactly.
if she had that kind of info instead of, getting the inside scoop on the case or whatever she should have done, handled differently?
Mm-hmm.
I would have handled it so much differently. Sorry, but I would have.
No, I
But
totally agree. And that's how you know, like, it's just for more subs,
clicks
more
and
views
views,
equals more money.
money.
And it's just bullshit. 6 cents, Sun Beach is on here. But she doesn't do any videos. I know you don't have a Facebook. And then the other person was Garnett. And then we had Arctic Fox. So it's just
Well,
like the same
she
people.
can. When I get the amount, I might do a community post that try to keep YouTube informed on certain things, if so. But I don't. I let Queen do all that I find, which she finds. She does her research too, and I help out other channels too.
Well, I appreciate
So
you doing that because even without a channel, without you making this content, like you still make a difference.
thank
And
you
we
too.
all need to just stick together and try to get these bones off of here, you know?
Hopefully,
Um,
we get channels like yours more out there than channels that are out there, but
I mean, there's,
we'll
like
see.
Arctic Fox, I always talk about how there's nothing wrong with
He
being
is
monetized,
so underappreciated
He is. He
because he
really,
doesn't grift, and it pees me off to no end. No end. Like,
yeah,
he's looking for that child. He's not just whatever. He's letting it out there. He puts, just because he doesn't sit and hound on one child, he cares about every child and adult.
yep.
Like, he doesn't get enough for it. And I just really, that's what I always say to people. Like, yeah, sure, you'll follow Dolly, which gives you false information. But
Mm-hmm.
Arctic Fox actually puts out new information, factual information. Gray Hughes, follow him. I mean, follow the people that actually will sit and do the research with you. And guess what? When they're wrong about something, they say, "Oh crap, I was so wrong. This is what happened."
Yeah,
Or they'll say allegedly, so that's how it happened, instead of spreading rumors and people are being beat to death that didn't do anything. It's just
exactly.
ridiculous. A lot of this
Exactly.
is with YouTube.
That's
It
why
seems like
we,
the more drama, the better off your channel is. So,
yep, that's all it is. People like drama. I think Darkness's video is the only video, which I'm glad that got like a lot of views. And it's just like the more drama or the more you talk about others, it just gets more attention.
yeah.
The more misinformation you put out there, just I don't know.
We'll
We
just
we
keep
started
pushing to do the right things. Eventually, the drama will come to an end, and the right people will find the right
exactly.
channels that do the right thing. Eventually, the drama will get old to people, and they'll want facts instead of. Eventually, at some point, you got to figure out, oh my God, I've been lied to so much that I want to go find someone that isn't going to do that anymore.
Exactly. I mean, I hope that happens. It's just like Dolly said yesterday on his or this morning. I don't know when he did it, but he was just like, all you guys are doing tagging me is getting other people to look at my thing and da da
But he's
da.
right.
And he is, and it's just, but it's
But the
like, what
thing
else do
is
we
that they don't stay after month one, month two. I mean, yeah, some of those that start off with him when he was funny, they do stay because they see the comedy in him. But now that he switched it over to this, I
do?
just pray that they see that, no one else was arrested but Dolly. And the reason why is because he went after an old woman. Like, a woman, he's fixing to go to jail over beating his ex girlfriend, which it's a mood. That's her name. It's a moon on here.
So has he went to jail for that?
No, she's getting warrants and stuff. Where he says free Lolo, that's the dog that he pawns it off on her when he wants to go do stuff like quitting, and then when he wants to come back, he wants a dog for a day, and then he wants her to come back and pick it up. And so now he's making shirts and all this profit off of that stuff too. Oh, by the way, they collected that profit too off the amount of shirts he sold. He also sells soap, which he'll say, "Oh, this is sold out." Well, you can tell how many bars they've counted all this money up. And
crazy. How is he still around? How is he still allowed around animals if he has all this shit? I mean, he has the animal abuse shit.
Exactly.
Ugh.
Because unfortunately, animals are considered property in the United States, which shouldn't be. But of course, they're considered property, so it's you bought it, you own it type deal.
That's
but
ridiculous.
So far, the judges let her keep the dog, so there's something there. I mean, he's not correct on that.
Yeah.
There's something not right. If a judge is, all the bull he spewed to them, the judge didn't see it that way. Did she? Now, the mess had got a temporary protective order on him, and the judge did drop it after. But they also dropped his on Savage after, so I don't know if it's just up with the state of Virginia or what. But that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean once her charges go through and they stick that she's not going to get it back. She just has to prove that part of the case.
Yeah.
And then she'll win. I mean, and it takes a minute. That doesn't happen overnight, especially with her not calling 911 when it happens.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to look into all that because I didn't even know all that situation was going on either.
Oh, it's so deep. There's so much more to all that on both Molly and Dolly, and BHB. But we'll talk about all that as it goes on.
Yeah, definitely. I'm glad that, you found my channel and, I didn't know until I think yesterday.
Me too, because I thought you were lying. I really did. I was like, why is she saying that? Is she talking about the real person? And then when you said it, I was like, I'm telling you, before I even watched the first video, I went and sub first, and then I watched your video. Because I was like, I'm not going to have my name attached to somebody like that. I'm sorry, but no, I don't respect that. I can't. Your daughter, your child, and kiss her at that? Like, don't do that.
Yeah, exactly. And, like our channel, we made this because our Kyron Horman group, for 12 years, nothing's been done. And it's because everything's been focused on Terry and Dee Dee. There's no evidence. There's no proof. We know a lot of things that people don't know. My interview with her son, with Terry's son, is on our Facebook group. We're friends with him. It's just a lot, so we were like, let's make a YouTube, because we don't like misinformation. We don't like putting out the wrong stuff. So we're not one of those
and I
channels.
love that.
Yeah, we were just like, let's do something about it. And it got to Kyron's mom. I'm gonna just call her DY, and she's tried to call us out a couple of times, especially me. They come after me the most.
Of course.
And they don't like us speaking the truth because it's not a part of their narrative. They want Terry and Dee Dee to be guilty so bad, but it's like this 12 years you haven't focused on your son. So you definitely should join our group on that as well, and see what
is that one out? Does the YouTube know what that one is?
Huh?
Do your YouTube followers know what that is?
Yeah, it is. We have a lot of videos on it. It's Kyron Horman investigation, new, old, and ignored tips. it's a pretty big page, and we made it because the original. I don't know if you know Kyron. Well, I don't want to say it,
I
but
know of his case. I didn't get involved. I missed the last part. You said Kyron Horman what?
um, it's another page that's ran by this psycho freaking lady. But we made the group because her and DY don't let anyone speak on their group if it's not Terry this, Terry this. So our group, yeah, it's Kyron Horman Investigation, New, Old, and Ignored Tips. So if you see any other Kyron Horman group, they're all ran by the same people. We've gone through crazy stuff with these people. They have planted flyers in a park, and our old admin lives there. Um, they, my God, they didn't make her, but she wanted to go get the flyer because it had information. Supposedly, somebody knew where Kyron was and all this stuff. So our admin drove to the park to go get the flyer, and the whole flyer was made up. Like, we've been through some crazy stuff. These people are like, the stories that we have, they sound so crazy, but they'll do
Right.
anything to like throw us off.
Well, it usually doesn't true crime. The truth usually is crazier than what people think.
Yes. Like,
I just gonna
we
add to that.
I appreciate it because you'll definitely be like, it's a lot. It's a lot. Um, Sixth Sense, are you planning to do? Yeah, we are. I'm gonna do Dulce Alvarez. You know, I wasn't even planning on doing HaLeigh's case so early in the morning. I didn't even have my notes or anything, but we're gonna redo, go over everything again on a different day. But the next video we're gonna do is Dulce Alvarez.
Oh, I haven't even heard of her.
Yeah, she is a little girl. She went missing in I don't have my notes with me. Her mom was at the park. She was sitting in the car with I can't breathe. She was sitting in the car with her little sister doing homework, and she let her Dulce and her younger brother go play in the park, and she's like, "Hey, I'll be there in a minute." Um, so the next thing you know, like, she gets out of the car, and her daughter's gone, and the little brother's sitting there crying, like, you know, somebody stole, somebody took her, and she was 5 years
Oh,
old. It's a lot. It was in New Jersey, um, and I don't know. It was really sad. A lot of people, it was a Hispanic family, and a lot of people thought the mom had something to do with it. They blamed her because they're like, why would you let
oh.
your, kids go play on a park? But it was within distance where she could see them. It's still like an open case, but
And as
it just
if she's not beating herself up enough over that. That's what I'm
yeah,
saying. In every case, is there something someone could have done different? Absolutely. But
yep,
if you would have known, if you had a crystal ball, like, and half these people have turned their backs, went and got water, or went to the restroom, whatever. I mean, no one's perfect.
exactly. I mean,
But you don't blame them for murder. My sister was murdered. She was 27. Her 5 and 7-year-old kids were at the home when it happened. Do you
oh,
know they tried to blame my 7-year-old nephew?
oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, we're still not to trial, and they still have her body, but they try to
Wait, they
blame
tried to
me. And
blame
I
your
was,
nephew?
yes, yes, 7 years old, a 7-year-old child with a grown man in the home. You try to blame a 7-year-old child.
Are you
And me, which
freaking?
was 20 hours away from her.
Oh, God, that
Yeah,
is unbelievable what people will do. I am
yeah.
so sorry about your
So
sister.
that's what I was saying to
So
Garnett. Like,
who was it? The guy that was
it was
living?
her husband,
Oh my God, I'm so
and he
sorry.
let us search for her for 7 weeks. But I did. I had to do the investigation myself. This happened 3 years ago, the 20th of October. We had trial scheduled for October something, the 5th, I think, I want to say. And they canceled it because I went live on YouTube on a friend's page and basically called them out and then put it in my sister's group. Because I have a group for her. I ran a group. That's the only reason why I was able to find her and force him to admit what he did. But so they did schedule trial, but then they wound up canceling it the day before we had flights to go. So the next day would have been jury selection, and we had our flights for the next day. They canceled at 8 o'clock that night.
What?
So it's been a big, oh yeah, it's been a huge mess. So I can't speak too much yet, but
Yeah.
I did tell the story in a heat. I was enraging, knowing that the 3 year mark was coming up, and he's literally okay. So he shot her with 3 different guns in the state of Texas. He shot her over 9 times, 9 that we could count,
Oh
like
my
through what he
God.
said. And they're letting him get away with trying to claim self defense, but
Wait,
whatever.
wait. And so, and
Right.
he's still out, and he was walking around.
Oh no. He's locked up. He's got $1 million bond he could get out on, but if his sister bonded him out, which she's elderly, we still let her see the kids. We finally got the kids, custody of the kids. But if if she helps him out in any way financially, that would be it. Like we would cut communication would be
Oh,
cut.
yeah. I
So
don't.
she's
That's
finally not helping him, but
good.
they have
She
enough money to
shouldn't.
bond him out.
And they really thought a 7. You said a 7-year-old shot her 9
A
times.
7 year old. Well, they didn't know yet that she was shot. We did because see, here's the first thing. So the first thing that happened was the neighbors and stuff. Everyone started reaching out to us because literally they were calling this number that the cops put out, and no one was answering or calling them back. So the neighbors finally reached out to us, and they're like, "We heard shots that night." It wasn't one neighbor; there was 2 neighbors on opposite sides of her. Well, you know what the cops said when I finally got a hold of them? They're like, "It's impossible. We had a storm that night." I was like, "Listen, they're hunters. First of all, they know the difference in a lightning bolt and thunder versus a gunshot. They heard gunshots. My sister's shot somewhere. They wouldn't believe it. She's also a 911 dispatcher. And because he
Oh,
told them that she ran off with another man, they actually believed him. He also told the kids, he did this in front of her children.
oh
He told
God.
them that it was a Halloween scene and that was fake blood on their mother. That she literally got up and got in the car after. Meanwhile, I'll tell you in private, but
Yeah, I don't want you
basically,
to,
yeah.
get in trouble for or oh my God. I don't understand. I don't, and I am so sorry. And I'm
Yeah, so
sorry
that's
for
why
what
when
they
Garnett said
did.
that, it hit me dead in the heart. That's why, like, I was like, "Don't you blame yourself?" Because I sat there and did too. But at the same time, like that
You
song,
couldn't.
it always says, "If I would have known." That song plays in my head, and I just stop. I'm like, "Wait, hold on. Today, if you could go back today and knew it was going to happen tomorrow, would you give up your whole life, your house, your arm, your leg, whatever they wanted to change that for that poor baby?" Yes, you absolutely would have. So that
Mm-hmm.
means it's not your fault. I mean, and especially hearing all the steps her daughter took to prevent this. I mean, my sister was 27. She was grown. She was making her own decisions. Whatever we said didn't matter. So that's on her, but she was leaving him, and we all knew that.
Yeah.
So there you go, and that's what happened. But there's more to that, and I'll tell you in private once I get connected with you on Facebook.
It's
Some of it.
it's definitely never not. I feel so my heart breaks for when I hear people say like, I blame myself sometimes, and
Yeah.
there's like you said, there's nothing you can do or change, and there's nothing that you could have done unless it was some kind of situation where, you I don't know what the situation was, but you can't make somebody leave somebody, and I don't know if
Right?
I don't know, but
Well,
you
even if
can't change
you're
anything.
seeing someone being shot, I mean, the most you can do is, oh, I don't think we're supposed to say that word. The pewed. I think the most you can do is try to
I'm
move
sorry.
the situation to another situation. But then if it puts someone else in harm, you're whatever, or you get yourself. So what good did that help? Like, there's so many situations
Yeah,
that, you know what I mean? Even if being there, you can't blame yourself for.
exactly. And all you can do is just, help others, like you told Garnett, like help others with the situation in the same
Yeah.
situation, bring awareness.
Right? And it
I'm
makes you
so
proud.
sorry.
And especially this story you're telling me about now at the park, like, other mothers don't think of that. They think of what do mothers think when they go to a park? They think safety and happiness and get your kids' energy out, get them a good night's rest because they'll be tired when they get home, or just a break from your normal routine. That's what you're thinking about. So
Yeah.
you're off kilter already. You're not thinking about some nasty freak being there to intervene with your children. Like, I feel bad for
Especially
this
if you're
doll-faced
not,
mommy.
especially if you're not into this kind of true crime community.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, like for the last couple years, like I am the most careful person with my kids. I have 8 kids, and I if they're even trying to like climb a tree, or if they leave my sight for like one
Yeah.
second, I'm freaking the fuck out, because I'm like, you don't know what can happen in that 1 second. It just takes 1 second.
Yep.
And my mom, no, my aunt is always like, you are too like one of those
Yeah.
helicopter moms. But I'm like, okay, if I let them climb that tree, they fall off, something happens with their head. Like, yeah, I just overthink,
Mm-hmm.
but that's how we need to be, sadly, these days. Um,
Unfortunately, we have to be.
yeah, you can't just look away for 1 second, and that's what we're also doing too, is bringing awareness. Somebody the other day brought up Quentin's babysitter, and I said, she couldn't have done anything different. I said, and she wasn't thinking at
Well, there
that
was a
time.
lot she could have done different, but that's not her child to
Yeah,
do
yeah,
differently. And it's not. It's and she's beating herself up. And like, I get it. Does people look at her different? Sure, they do, because she has changed her story. But the thing is that what you don't understand is when you're in the middle of an investigation. Guess how many times the cops had me lie to my own people,
yeah,
like people that literally gave up their whole life to give me the moment to go search for my sister.
yeah,
You see what I'm saying? And I had to lie to them. Like, I found her van on my own. He took the kids and drove here to Florida. And I searched out every place he ever worked at, every place that he ever lived at here, like every
oh my
place
God,
that he even, whatever. And even I underchecked, well, my other sister underchecked it. I asked her if she did go there. She said, yeah, that she had. Well, I was sitting in the bathtub and I was like, but did you really go there?
yeah,
And I was thinking, well, she's so not, I don't want to say the wrong word. She just doesn't check like I check.
yeah,
So I was like, well, what does it hurt to have two people check? And I don't know why, but I got out of the tub that very day. I got dressed and I ran to that place. Well, I got scared to go behind there because it was a junkyard, basically. It's a storage yard for old tractor trailers and semis. And I drove back to get back on the exit to go home like 3 times before I said, you know what? Just do it.
mm-hmm.
Just do it. So I did do it. And I went behind there and I see these two ponies. And I was like, I know the ponies. I know, why are they sitting there, first of all? I know those ponies. I know those ponies. Well, I drove out and I went to go get back on the interstate and I thought about it again. I was like, well, just jump out of the car. It was raining. And there's a little bit more to the backstory why I wasn't supposed to be there. It's family friend business. And it does say no trespassing and all that. Well, I don't know why, but I turned back around and I drove there and I jumped out of my car in the middle of the rain and ran and looked. And sure enough, I seen something white. So I called my other sister. I was like, you need to get here right now. Like, get here. I'm hiding in the back. not to get caught until you get here. Once you get here, I'm trying to get a hold of the detectives in Texas. Sorry, and all that. So see what I'm saying? Even I she beat herself up. She's like, we could have ended this weeks ago. I was like, well, because the cops didn't even believe she was missing or dead. We knew she was alive. We knew it. Like
So
that
you
minute, I
found
knew
her.
it.
You found her there,
I found her van. She wasn't in it,
but you
but
found
there
her
was tons of
van.
evidence in it that she had been deceased in it. And then finally, that kickstart them, got the detectives off their butt. They had to drive here and get the van and go through all the contents. Then our state law enforcement showed them what they were doing wrong and showed them how to process the evidence. Thank God that it happened here. And finally, we got the evidence where they started actually luminol in the house and everything, and asking the kids and interviewing the people and doing what they should have done long before.
Yeah.
And then I had a friend, well, not a friend, but now their family, a couple of them in Texas that would follow him anywhere he went because they left the kids with him. See, that was their mistake and his too. Had he released those kids, I wouldn't give a damn what he done. But because he had those two kids,
Yeah.
my eyes were on them 24/7 and on the search for her.
Yeah.
So you see what I'm saying? How do you just let the kids go? He wouldn't have got caught, but because he couldn't even make a move without somebody watching him and taking pictures of me videoing him, he finally confessed. Well, when they took the kids, that's when he confessed because he knew he was never going to live life again. Like that was it. They had the van, they had everything they needed.
Well, you did a good job. I mean, you sometimes feel like you could have done something, but you also, got this man arrested like he should have been. You put in all
Thank
that work
God.
and you got your sister justice. Now it's time to go to court, but there is all the evidence and stuff, and you helped with that. So you should
Well, he went on
feel,
the news and told him what he did, so we've got that, which
oh
we're
my,
lucky for. As long as the judge don't strike that, we're good to go. He burned himself. And that's all I'm saying with other people is they don't know to do all that stuff.
that's what yep.
So that's why I like channels like yours that like to say, this person's story and that person's story. You know why? Because at the end of the day, then it might trigger someone to go, I didn't do this, or wait, if she could do it, I can do it. When they tell you to stop searching, yeah, stop searching where they're searching, but search
Yeah,
somewhere else where the cops aren't. And keep
exactly.
on it because guess what? If they know you're not going away, they have to whatever because they know the news picks that up and
Yeah,
they're in deep trouble.
exactly. That's why we also make phone calls.
Yep, I do
You know,
too.
yeah, the phone calls, people are like, what does that do? And I'm like, it motivates them and
It does.
it makes them get off their ass sometimes. You
Well, it
call
makes
enough.
them know that like people aren't going away and you need to do your
Yep,
job.
exactly. But
So
hey, girl, I have to get
yeah,
off
yeah, me
here.
too. I
I
do.
gotta
I
feed the
do.
kids. Six Sense, who has a video covering the story. We went over like three stories as always. I don't know
Yeah,
why
which
our
story,
channel,
baby?
our channel, like we go to one story and then we just, I don't know. We're gonna get it together one day, but we just always talk
Yeah, but
about
it's
different
best
stuff.
to do it that way. I guess so that each person gets a little bit of time. I guess I don't know, but at least on Haley's story, somebody's talking about her because
Yeah,
she deserved it. Then she deserves it now. She deserves to be found. She does. Haley deserves everything that Kaylee got and more.
exactly. She needs to get justice, and I hope I hope that the grandmother reaches back out. I hope we could speak to different people and do another video, like we
Yeah, if
said.
I can find all their names, I'll hook you up with all their names. And
Yeah,
they were willing to
definitely.
speak back then. I don't know what now, but I'm sure a lot of them still want justice. They were gung ho for justice for that baby.
Oh yeah, like
So I'm sure they still are.
definitely, because the way the grandmother sounded. She was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, just give me a few days," because he had just got out of jail that the day before I
Oh.
wrote her. So you know, I'm just gonna give her a little bit, and if she
Well,
doesn't get
hopefully
back with
talking to
me,
him himself, because he got to hang out with her high afterward. I think that he has a lot of information that he may want to get out.
yeah.
And hopefully he does.
And
So,
you would think she's in prison all this time. Like, just come out and say what the fuck really
well,
happened.
see, that's the only reason why they got those charges on her to begin with. They thought
Yep.
if they got them and she was facing all those years, she would tell. That's the only reason why they sent in that um, cop that bought the drugs. That's the only reason why. They just wanted to know where HaLeigh was. Like she would have got off almost basically not scot free, but basically what that fit what um oh gosh, I can't even think of her name that was up here with us.
Oh, Garnett.
What Garnett's people got. Like she got more years for the drugs
Yeah,
than she would have got for the murder of an innocent baby had she had told.
exactly.
So that's all they were trying to do was force their hands to tell him what happened, and instead he married her because she was underage, and they were going to get him for that, and so much more. All right, beautiful. I'm going to go because we could talk about this all day. I
Yes.
literally could.
I
All
gotta
right,
feed
I'll
the
talk to you
kids,
soon.
and
Thanks for
I
letting me come
appreciate.
up.
No, I appreciate you coming on, and we'll talk. And I'm so sorry again about your sister. I want to definitely hear more, and if we can help any kind of way, just let us know.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Have a good day. I'll talk
You
to you
too.
soon.
All right.
All right, bye
Bye.
bye.
Really appreciate listening to actual people's voices. Thank you. I just wanted to get a synopsis of the story. So Sixth Sense. HaLeigh Cummings. She let me hold on. Hold on. Um, I gotta get off here in a minute because I gotta feed my kiddos, but I will just go over real quick. Let me plug my phone in. Oh, okay. All right. I'll just go over real quick. It is a case that happened a long time ago. Um, hold on. Hold on. I need to get used to this sharing your screen. Like this is my first time doing it. So ta-da. Okay. True Crime with Sunshine. Thank you. You know how it always turns out. Like we always end up talking about different stuff, but we try. We're definitely going to do it over again. I don't know why I woke up Arctic and Garnett and was like, I'm ready. My crazy ass. Like, I wasn't thinking this morning. But okay, so Sixth Sense. So February 9th, 2009 was just another day for Ronald Cummings. That is HaLeigh's father. He had left HaLeigh and her 4-year-old brother in the care of his 17-year-old girlfriend, Misty Crossland, as he headed for the night shift. But little did he realize his life was about to change forever. When he got back to his trailer home in Satsuma, south of Jacksonville, around 3 a.m. that morning, he was greeted by Crossland, who told him that she had woken up to find HaLeigh missing from her bed and a cinder block popping open the back door. The Putnam County Sheriff's Office was called to the scene, and the disappearance kicked off a massive hunt involving hundreds of volunteers spread out a widespread area, as well as an investigation involving multiple law enforcement agencies. But no trace of the 5-year-old was ever found. The case is now the subject of a new HLN docuseries called Real Life Nightmare. Um, Investigators still believe that Crossland, which is his girlfriend, they ended up getting married right after HaLeigh disappeared. is the key to solving the crime. She was the last to see HaLeigh alive, and the evidence seems to implicate her in the disappearance one way or another. There was no signs of forced entry. You know, they revealed that Crossland had took a shower before they reached the residence. There were a lot of strange things about her that night that caught their attention. So, and she changed her stories multiple times. If you go back, we played the 911 call. So basically, HaLeigh disappeared. Ronald, the dad, was at work and he came home. He was freaking out. Like, you could tell he was so heartbroken. They ended up going to prison also for drug charges. And he did 12 years. He just got out. So yeah, and we still don't know what happened to HaLeigh. The grandmother is still really involved on Facebook, trying to spread awareness. You're welcome. I can't stand these channels that are just here, you know, for the money and not the victims. It's disgusting. And I appreciate you for all your support, even though our videos always turn up differently. And I always say the same thing every time. We're going to get it together. But, you know, it is what it is. So yeah, we will be doing Dulce Alvarez case next. I don't know when. I was gonna see if we could do it today, but I've been on here forever. I have to clean. I have to do a lot of stuff. So I don't know, maybe tomorrow. But yeah, you guys join the Facebook group for HaLeigh. I'll put it in the comment section. Join Orion's group on Facebook, which is Justice for Orion O'Neill Murphy, and our Kyron Horman group, which is Kyron Horman Investigation, New, Old, and Ignored Tips. All the other Facebook groups for Kyron, please avoid. That's why we made our group. It's just a mess over there. So yeah, thank you guys so much. You have 8 kids. You're kidding yourself about being more organized. Girl, I know. I can't. I am the most, oh my God. Like, I am the most unorganized person because my head is just everywhere, always. So, and that's why I was like, every time we do videos, I have to do it when I have the chance. Like right now, the littlest ones are right across the street at my aunt's house. You know, and I also have a lot going on. My uncle just got put in hospice. He's at my aunt's house, not doing good. So, you know, me and him are really close. So my brain's not really functioning. But yeah, I just, you know, when I have that chance, when there's no little ones here to distract me, I'm like, oh, we got to do this. So, you know, I call Garnett and I call Arctic this morning. Early as hell, like, hey, let's do the video now. Not even thinking, you know. But that's just me. That's just what I do. Thank you everybody for your support. We hope that you guys can bring awareness to HaLeigh's case as well. We have some more stuff coming up, and please, please, please keep all these families in your prayers. Keep Sun Beach's family, Garnett's family, my family, you know, and just be safe. And I'm going to get all emotional. I got emotional this morning because my uncle, you know, you never know when it's your time. And we take life for granted so often. We never know when we can wake up or when we won't wake up, you know? So try to live every day, you know, like it's your last. Try to forgive those who hurt. Try to ask for forgiveness for those. Ooh, let me stop. Let me stop. Let me stop. But yeah, just be kind, love one another, and just keep bringing awareness and help get justice for these families. But you guys have a blessed day, and we will see you guys later. Bye.